It's me.
Nerdrotic.com.
Hi. I'm going to be the only one on camera because I put so much damn work into this office. I'm going to be on camera, okay?
Yeah, you got to see it.
No, I'm not wearing pants, but don't worry. I won't stand up. Ladies, welcome to the Nerdrotic Nooner. My name is Gary Beekler. Come to you from Nerdrotic.com and my mom's vagina. I'm adopted, so thanks, Mom, for not aborting me. And
good job.
We got I guess there's pretty much just two topics to talk about today.
That is enough.
That is enough.
Or maybe three.
Maybe three. I just finished watching the finale of Moon Knight. We're going to discuss that.
Yeah.
Chris will chime in. He skipped it, but Chris is going to talk about Doctor Strange too. So here are the parameters. We are going to be spoiler free for the first part of the live stream. And when we get into maybe not so much for Moon Knight, but for Doctor Strange, we're not going to spoil anything until later in the show, and we'll let you know. We'll give you plenty of warning. Because I don't care. Because I knew what was going on in Doctor Strange, and actually they cut out all the probably best parts anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's not good when the director comes out and goes, "Yeah, it was pretty difficult to deal with making the movie."
when you don't know the ending.
Raimi said that. Yeah,
Raimi
it was
said
difficult.
that in the Hollywood Reporter yesterday. Poor guy. Can we start out by just saying we love Sam Raimi? No matter what.
Love Sam Raimi, man.
Love Sam Raimi.
He's not to blame. He's not to blame. Actually, when he does shine through, about 15% of the movie you can see it's like, oh, this feels like Raimi. It feels like Raimi, and then that's only 15% of the film.
And Grace Randolph coming out and saying fucking Doctor Strange is not right for Sam Raimi shows how stupid she is. She is just stupid. This is Kevin Feige's fault. He's going to let Sam Raimi take the blame. It's Kevin Feige's fault. And I will tell you why, because I just saw fucking Moon Knight, and it's terrible. It's awful. And, I don't need apologies. I don't. None of us need apologies. I saw the comments for the first episode review, and I go through this every time we have a Disney Plus series. But I'm going to say, after 6 tries, I think we can probably expect to be disappointed with the Disney Plus series. It's safe to say it's going to be about the woman at the end, because that's what it was. It was a bait and switch. I really didn't think they would bait and switch this one, and they did.
They did it hard, man. They did it hard at the end.
So hard. I was like, what? Jesus Christ, that's so on the nose. Even for you, Disney. God. So, yeah, don't subscribe to Disney Plus. I know most of you don't. I don't. Fuck them. They're terrible. They're groomers. That's why they're called D+. Or F- now, which was actually a pretty good punk rock band that I liked from Orange County. But that's aside. Chris Gore, what's up?
I'm excited to be here, Gary, on the Nooner. Happy to be part of it. I watched you yesterday, which was always like to watch you on the Real BBC, and love that show. And then you said something on that show. And I'm just happy to be I'm happy about inclusion, because I'm included. But
we're all about inclusion here.
Yeah, and diversity.
And diversity.
But you talked about something yesterday. I wrote this book years ago called The 50 Greatest Movies Never Made, and the Silver Surfer movie was in that book. Yeah, it was in the book, but there was just sort of thin information. But you remember, and I was in the chat trying to get your attention, but it was just like there was an issue of Preview magazine. It was spelled Prevue, Preview, that did a whole story on the Silver Surfer movie where they had concept paintings. I remember this is in the 80s, and
Yes.
it blew my. So you remember it? Okay,
Yes.
I'm not. Yeah, like how crazy is that they were going to make a Silver Surfer movie back then?
Yeah. It would have been terrible. And I would have loved it as a kid. I would have just like, oh, this is the greatest thing ever. Like when I walked out of Flash Gordon, I thought it was the greatest fucking thing I ever seen. So, and I still do. But like,
it's pretty great.
It would have been more like that. It would have been like a canon film, but worse.
I would have loved that.
It would have been interesting to see like James Cameron's Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
I remember buying an issue of Variety that had a full page advertising James Cameron's Spider-Man.
Dude, the story breakdown for that James Cameron Spider-Man is so strange.
It's weird.
It is a very strange Spider-Man story.
For sure.
It wouldn't have been good.
Yeah,
I don't think
so.
But
I still would have loved to see that, the multiverse, right? We get to go see those other versions of
they
movies
used a
that never
couple
got made.
elements.
I'd love to see that, though.
They ended up using a couple elements in Raimi's Spider-Man from the Cameron Spider-Man. So
that's true, yeah.
Including those organic web shooters. So, yeah, we're going to talk about Doctor Strange and Moon Knight. Welcome, Chris Gore. And yeah, we're glad you're included. And yeah, Real BBC was fun yesterday. It was a record show. I didn't even know it was a record show. I was so into the conversation.
Great episode.
And
it
we
was
cracked 8,000. So that's pretty amazing. Thank you. You guys are awesome. Hi, Quarter Black. How's it going?
Yo, hey, it's good. I mean, it's not that great because I watched Moon Knight
and I made you
before the show, so it's pretty trashy at the moment. But I love to be here.
Oh yeah. Oh, Dave Chappelle got attacked on stage.
I was looking at that just now.
I was watching Crowder and that show. Somebody used to be on that show.
Wrecked.
I can't remember. Yeah, dude.
I don't know.
That
man.
dude got effed up, and I bet that entire security force probably gets fired afterwards because they let him get that far.
How did they let him get that close?
But Mark with the C who's a great guy, who did a video on it, had the best take on it. Is Dave Chappelle gets sacked? He got sacked.
Well, the guy broke his arm. I guess he broke
that guy's arm is all twisted backwards and stuff. Have you seen the pictures?
Oh yeah, and he was bleeding because they kicked the shit out of him.
Beat the crap out of him.
Yeah, when are you gonna charge a brother on stage? What the fuck do you think's gonna happen to you, dude? You're gonna get fucked up. Yeah,
Chappelle seems like he's in shape. Like he could.
Oh yeah, dude's jacked.
Pretty easy. He seems intimidating. I saw Ryan Cannell's video on it. It was.
Well, he's probably made 6 since it started.
Yeah, he's made 9.
Is he on his 7th video by now?
On stage. That's insane.
Yeah. Like what the hell? Like it's open season now. Like it's like thanks, Will Smith.
Well, I think
great job.
This really comes down to no accountability for behavior, no accountability for petty crime, no accountability for so many things, and not firing people who deserve to be fired. I mean, this is all we live in, a no accountability culture. And this is, and like a lot of people are pointing out Will Smith. Well, yeah, when someone like that goes on stage and gets, effectively a slap on the wrist, he can still be nominated and win Oscars. He just can't go to the show. And my feeling is they'll bend that rule if something changes in the next decade. Because think of the ratings if Will Smith came back, say in 3-4 years, that would be huge. But yeah, this is when you're seeing stuff like this happen, and I'm seeing like the city that I love, my adopted city, moving from the Midwest in Detroit to Los Angeles. And, I live on the periphery in sane Pasadena. Yeah. And whenever I go into LA, it's like it's just like the tent cities are now making their way up Hollywood Boulevard. It's nuts. And you see just like batshit people walking down the street. It's like, yeah, of course something like this is going to happen. I'm not even surprised with the Chappelle thing. And by the way,
just going to wall it off. Just nobody goes back. It's like a no-go.
Exactly. It's just going to throw up a wall bigger. But like, I love that you can still get tickets to all the shows, which is awesome. The Bowl, you can grab like tickets for like $50 in the nosebleed, but you don't have to sit there. You can stand somewhere else.
If I had time, I'd have gone. I saw Chappelle in San Francisco when he did one of his like impromptu shows once. It's fucking awesome, dude. In a little club, I got to see Dave Chappelle.
Man.
It's fucking great. Yeah, he would do these like secret shows, and he'd announce it like the day of, and I had a friend of mine just said, dude, I got tickets, let's go. I'm like, fuck yeah. Yeah. But yeah, it's going to be, well, I mean, like now everybody's got to think about security. If you speak out about anything, I don't know why, do we know why he got attacked? I'm guessing
I haven't seen any reason why, just some psychopath maybe.
Okay. That's, well,
But
I mean,
we'll see.
that's probably it. I mean, that's, it could be his biggest fan. Who knows?
He was carrying a replica of a handgun.
Yeah. Oof. That's bad.
What?
I mean, that yeah. You know, and it's like, it's crazy. It's crazy to think, not to bring it to me, but I'm going to bring it to me. I'm going to like, all right, we're going to go to meetups and they're great. Everybody's great, but I'm worried about everybody else. And now do we have to get like security? Jeremy and I have already talked about it. And the answer is yes. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We're going to like to for anything to just, because some people might bring their kids to the event. Yeah, we got to have
it's not to really protect us because I don't
about
care.
everybody.
But it's everybody, if some crazy person can show up because we're advertising it. Yeah.
And comedy shows, like now the comedy clubs all have to triple their security. Right. I wouldn't our comics are going to go like, am I going to be good at this place? I don't know. Cause you're just right there. And that sucks. That's where our freedom gets. I mean, the thing is, this is the risk we take with freedom. Right. And we can have security guards. And this is also the risk the state takes with us by taking away our ability to protect ourselves. They take away, well, we gave it up. Okay, but they also took it away, right? I would very much just prefer my ability to protect myself. Hail to the mom here in San Antonio area who plugged an intruder in the chest twice and killed him.
What?
Yeah.
Good job, Mama.
Yeah, Mama came out and just boom, boom. She had 3 kids in the house. Guy broke into her house. It's fucking Texas. She popped 2 in his chest, and he went out in the back porch and died. See ya, motherfucker. And yeah, that could have been me when I did that shit when I was a kid too. And thank God it wasn't. But you know what? That's just the way it is. California, she would have been charged with murder. It was in certain cities. That's not going to say every city, but in like San Francisco, yeah, she would have been taken in and charged for sure.
It's just nuts that this is where we are, where comedians on stage can't tell jokes without risking bodily harm. It is ridiculous where we are right now.
Yep.
And it's weird. Did you see that Chris Rock was there?
He was there.
Yeah. Yeah, he was there.
Made a Will Smith joke.
He did. He's all, was that Will Smith? And I guess Jamie Foxx ran up on the stage too to help out. So I think it's the Netflix comedy thing, right? It's the Netflix's joke thing.
Yeah. Taping.
Netflix is a fucking joke, by the way. So.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Yeah. I do kind of want to check just to support, Chappelle. I kind of want to go.
Yeah.
So I might get some tickets.
Go see Chappelle.
Yeah.
Like, dude, go see Chappelle. Like, that's like passing up on seeing the Beatles or something. You definitely want to go while the guys performing.
Yeah, you got to see.
Yeah. For sure. Like, it reminds me of when I had those tickets to Nirvana and I didn't want to go because I didn't want to go alone and be a loser. I was a fucking idiot. I was just dumb.
Oh my God.
I had tickets for Dave Chappelle in like 2010. He was doing a big comedy festival, and I had tickets, and I showed up a day late because I looked at the date wrong.
Oh shit! You're like,
dude, that was the worst
I got here
feeling
early.
in my life. I'll never do that again. Every time I have any kind of tickets for anything, I double, triple, quadruple check the date. Man, that hurt. That hurt.
Yeah. Plus, I mean, with the Nirvana thing, I was out, I think 2 weeks. I think I was out of prison for 2 weeks. So I was like not ready for crowds. I was like, nah.
Oh, yeah.
Probably not. Good idea. My PTSD might kick in. I kick the shit out of somebody who just taps me on the shoulder, right? Well, what the fuck? I was a little,
bro. You're like, bam,
I was a little high strung in the first year. So, yeah. All right. So we'll get into Doctor Strange in a minute. Let's start with fucking Moon Knight. God damn it.
Oh no.
All right. So yeah, I'm going to spoil one thing. It's a bait and switch. They did it again. They did it again. Layla, the whole final episode is about Layla. There is no Mark Spector for the first 13. By the way, the finale, 35 minutes. 35 minutes.
Yep.
With
Dude, I looked at I was like, oh, I wonder if I have enough time before the show. And then I checked. It's 35 minutes. I was like, oh, yeah, I've got time to watch a show. I can take a shit. I can go eat breakfast. Like, I got so much time now because the show is so short. I was expecting, like, yeah, it would be like an hour, maybe hour 20, kind of wrapping everything up. No, the ending is so rushed. Perry Chan said it last night when he watched it. It was like, it's so rushed. It just cuts right through all of because they spend a lot of time on Layla, a lot of time. And then they just speed through everything at the end.
It's an origin story. It's an origin story for I'm forgetting the goddess's name, and I don't care. It's Tawad or whatever, and she's basically she's the goddess of a mother of pregnancy and children, right?
Yeah.
But somehow she's shepherding the dead in the Duat too. Very multitasking.
Why isn't it somebody like Osiris?
It where it should have been, right? It doesn't make any sense that a fertility god is shepherding the dead. That's kind of the opposite of fertility. Okay, just
the voice of that goddess, like, is so annoying.
It really
that
is.
Like Mindy Schmidt kind of like,
oh my god,
I'm a goddess. Like, oh my god,
I'm like a sitcom hippo goddess, and she's so yes. Khonshu wants Layla to be her avatar. Like, we'll get into it. Like, it's all about her. It becomes all about her, and then, like with the dissociative disorder that Mark Spector has with Stephen Grant, they like embrace it. They're like, yeah, it's a good thing that he has this. And Stephen Grant is essentially his safe space. That's why he was created in this show. He literally
has a little monologue about it.
Yes, he has an entire monologue how he created a personality to be a safe space. And I'm just like, oh my fucking God. This is like, we've got to be at the end. That's why I tweeted today, like, turn out the lights. The party's over. This is like really so fucking cringe. Even Robert Meyer Burnett was like, his tweet today was whatever at the finale. I'm like,
whatever, man. Like, you're just so defeated. Everything is so trash.
I don't mean to laugh, but I do in a little way.
If RMB is blackpilled on that, that's saying he was so pumped for it, and he's definitely overly positive sometimes, and I'll bust his balls about it whenever I see him.
I'm so gonna bust his balls about it.
Yeah, for sure. But
it's nothing wrong with that. You want to be?
I think he's just a super positive guy.
If you want to be an optimistic fan, be an optimistic fan. That's fine. It's cool. Yeah. But
like, that's just how he sees the world, and sometimes it's naive.
Yeah, I mean, there's a point. I was really optimistic like 3 years ago, 3.5, 4 years ago. Here's our lead up. Right, I just got to make sure I don't dox myself with those lower pictures there.
Close the DMs. Close the DMs.
Well, it shows, for some reason, it shows my bottom pictures. I don't care.
I
don't care. What
showing his bottom pictures.
Couple of D pics. Don't worry about it. Just ignore it. No.
Not a big deal.
That's that. There you go. There's your origin of ISIS. Fucking
what?
Yeah,
dude. I thought I was like, don't do it. She was talking to what's his name? The god
Khonshu.
For Moon Knight. Khonshu, right? He's talking to Khonshu. And oh man, for a second, I was like, is she going to become Moon Knight? Are they going to do it? Are they going to do it?
No, because Moon Knight is being enslaved. She is much smarter than the man, and she is not going to be enslaved. They are going to work together. And Khonshu goes, okay.
She just goes, I said no.
He goes, okay.
Like, he's a god.
He's a god. Oh my god, every muscle in my body cringed when that happened. I was like, oh god.
Did you notice that a man can't defeat a villain by themselves in this? Every time.
No.
Khonshu can't defeat another god. Moon Knight can't defeat another man, superpowered man, without her help. They all need her help. She's the one that knows how to grab my hand so we can do the spell. I'm gonna come in and save your life right before you get killed. Like, oh my god.
Amit beat Osiris, and I'm like, what? No, no, she's like a lower tier
No.
god. You know, it's like, yeah, but she just came up, and yes, they have giant gods fighting like over the pyramids in slow
Yeah.
motion, and it was horrible looking. And yeah, and oh wow, it just turned into such a mess at the end. But yeah,
so much unresolved stuff. Like, so all the people that lost their souls, they're just dead now, and you're not going to try and fix that.
Yep.
You're not going to try and
they they killed
We're just gonna-
everybody, and they didn't.
you saw their souls going. It was like
In
hundreds of
Amit's
souls.
mouth, in her mouth, and like you expected, they'll probably just have them fly back out, right?
Yeah,
back into
I
the
thought
body.
for sure. Yeah,
Nope.
it's going to be the end.
Everybody
Nope,
died.
they're gone, baby.
They're gone. Oh well. And okay, and they also didn't explain why the souls were flying into the Duat from the last episode without Amit being out yet. So the editing on this, it's like Red Letter Media said in their Picard review. It's like a game of telephone, right? So what happens, there's no showrunners on Marvel shows. Marvel doesn't know how to make television, so they're making it like movies. So they bring in a writer. They can't or they won't pay for a writer to write a full season. So they have the writer, their head writer, write a first and last episode, maybe even a middle one. But then they have fillers so they can virtue signal. So they bring in, like, for example, with Miss Marvel, you've got the directors from Bad Boys 3 who are also doing Batgirl, doing the first and the last episode. But then they have Basha K. Ali doing the middle episodes. Except a lot of these people doing the middle episodes now are leaving. So the guys who are paid to do like 2 shows have to rewrite the whole fucking season last minute. It's so fucking insane. And it's dumb how they run it, but this is Kevin Feige's way. He is the king. Nobody questions anything he does. He gets notes from these very diverse people that he hires. Doesn't give a fuck what they say. Doesn't give a fuck. Goes, nope. Like, even if they want to try something different, he says, nope. And it's just about pushing out product, right? So, yes, dramatic Middle Eastern music playing as we get to our winged... by the way, I don't know why an avatar for a hippo fucking fertility goddess has wings, but okay.
Yeah, it really kind of doesn't make any sense at all. So
No.
almost it has like a beetle kind of aesthetic with wings.
I'll give her this. She's in
And
shape.
none of that has to do with
She's
the
in shape.
hippo.
She's built.
Yeah, not bad.
You see,
Yeah.
those-
Look at those shoulders. Yeah, some shoulder muscles.
Those are real. Those are real arms. As well, maybe I don't know about that, but they look real. Not like female Thors, but yeah, she's. But she also by herself, and she's also like 5'5". Before she becomes a superhero, when oh fuck, I'm forgetting his name now. Harrow is monologuing. She's and Mark Spector is dead from the last episode. She somehow overpowers this 300-pound guy and like chokes him out, like sleeper
makes
hold.
no sound. Like, just a little bit of sound. I was like,
Yeah.
is she Sam Fisher? What is going on?
Yeah,
No, I didn't
like,
watch all the episodes.
Oh.
I just watched sporadic episodes. Now, is she trained in some way? Was she like a shield agent?
She's
or
not.
something?
No, she's not a mercenary. She's an archaeologist, kind of a rogue treasure hunter, like not quite a Tomb Raider, but that's what they wanted her to be. And the actress is like she's not bad, she's not good, she's just there. She's useless. It takes away
Pretty
from the
much.
story. So the total amount of time we got Moon Knight in the Moon Knight show, I think he's in it for like 5 minutes in this episode. So that ups his time quite a bit, up to about 17 minutes of Moon Knight in these 6 episodes.
Goodness. And there's some cool stuff that they do, but it's piled on by a bunch of garbage. The cool stuff is like when they're fighting and they're switching between the different costumes and the different personalities and fighting in the different ways that they fight. And I'm like, more of this. I want more of this.
But the fundamental problem
It's
is
so short, so little of it.
and this is where I'll just come out and say this is how woke ruins everything, because the comic industry is dying. Is it all because it's woke? No, but it's become the foundation now. So in a way, yes, especially with the MCU, right? So what you said earlier, they cannot have a male character. It's not even white male. It's a male character.
Just male, period.
He needs to have help for me. That is, it was so obvious that was a note from the studio that says, nope, there has to be a woman in there saving him. Twice, by the way, saving Moon Knight. This brand new superhero saves Moon Knight, who, by the way, has another personality locked in that they decided to tell us in a fucking extra credit scene. That's lame.
Come back next time for explanation.
There is no next time. It's a mini series. It's it. This is it. So yeah, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. At least that's what they submitted it for the Emmys. They said miniseries. Now they could go back on that later, but
there's always the hope. it's a MCU film, so you always got to leave that little extra nugget so you can go come back next time.
Yeah,
please.
So
watch our movies.
the manzel in distress gets saved twice, and then they fight the bad guy together when it should have been just Moon Knight and Haro fighting. That's it. That's what this whole thing should have just been about them. Adding her in and her whole dad thing was just, and she gets all the fucking screen time. She gets all the fucking screen time.
I would be interested to see the exact measurements of screen time she gets compared to Mark and Steven and Moon Knight. I would like to see that, because it definitely feels like every episode that I've watched so far, and I've watched 3 episodes, she is the focus of that episode.
When she's in it, she wasn't
much screen time.
She wasn't in the last episode, but the last episode was such a fucking waste because they were all in the asylum. That's all they was in the asylum the whole time trying to work this out, and they end up back there again, and it's kind of like a Mark Spector, I guess a place where he goes where his consciousness goes, and we start getting introduced to Jake Lockley right at the very end. And it turns out, which is pointless. It's just absolutely pointless what they did it in the final battle. He blacks out, kills everybody, and wakes up, and they don't show it. They don't fucking show it. And I was just like, what? In the final battle of your series and your finale, you don't show him defeating the bad guy. He just wakes up and the bad guy is defeated. I shit you not. That's how it happened. This is
so lazy.
It's so
fucking
bad.
lazy. There was a lot of scenes in this, because you were talking about editing. A lot of scenes felt very cut together. There was a scene where Ethan Hawke, he grabs that amulet and it starts to glow and magic stuff happens, and then it cuts to the faces of his followers, and then it cuts back, and then the staff is fully formed. You didn't get to see it fully formed like you would normally see. Oh, it's forming into a staff, and no, it's already there. And then that scene where he's literally about to die, and then he I'm blacking out, and then it's over. And everybody's over dead.
And they're like, what happened? And I'm like, yeah, that's a good question, because I felt like I love that Haro's big power up was his staff powers up. He doesn't get a costume or anything. His staff gets a fuking alligator head. That's it.
And it gets a little glowy. He walks into the tomb, and the other defenders are in there. They're like, we can't let you do this. So their hands start glowing, and his staff starts glowing, and then it cuts to a different room. And then it cuts back, and they're all dead. It's you just cut through. I didn't get to see any of the action in this action show.
No,
you cut away from it.
And then the whole changing between Moon Knight and Mr. Knight in the middle of a fight is annoying as fuck. Especially,
I liked it. I thought that was cool.
I hated it. I'd no, one at a time. I want to see Moon Knight. Yeah, fuck Mr. Knight. I don't like Mr. Knight. I don't like Mr. Knight in the comics. I don't like Mr. Knight in the fucking show. Fuck Mr. Knight. That is such a 2016 fucking Marvel thing. Fuck that. I want Moon Knight. No, they fucked up a good character. They had a good actor playing him too. And if
Oscar Isaac just keeps getting boned.
Well,
this is the 3rd time he's getting boned by a superhero movie, or some kind of big blockbuster.
Dude, stick to your indie stuff.
Yes.
And Dune. Seriously, dude, because you're yeah, they don't make good story decisions. Like sitting down as somebody who has read a lot of fucking comic books. This is I wouldn't even got near a story decision like this. I would have made it like Moon Knight from the first comic series, and it would have been a massive hit. But see, the thing is, well, that's got too many guns, you know. And by the way, their big solution for guns is stabbing people with knives,
which is more gruesome.
which is fine. I guess it's fine now.
It's on the rise in London.
Yeah.
Yeah, well.
There you go.
Yeah. So that's your big hero. By the way, she saves a little girl. She gets the hero moment. In the entire show, she gets the hero moment. She saves a little girl, and the little girl looks at her with awe, and she's all, "Who are you?" And she goes, "I am," and then takes off because she doesn't have a fucking name. She just fucks right off.
I am.
Yeah, that I had the closed caption. I'm old, so I have the closed captions on just in case my I can't catch it. You know, sometimes I can't catch it. I'll admit it. I admit it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't want to look at this anymore. I really don't want to look at.
Man.
Get away.
And she has the hero moment again whenever he defeats whatever Ethan Hawke's name is. I can't be fucked to care. He's like about to kill him, and he's like, I have to kill him to be free. And then it turns to her, and she's like,
You have a choice. You have a choice.
You have a choice.
And he goes, "Oh, as a matter of fact, I do. Thanks."
Yeah, and he just goes, "Oh, yep."
I would have totally killed him if the woman wasn't here to tell me I didn't have a choice. You do it, baby. I was like, fuck off.
And then once again, this is the weakest god ever. He just goes, "Okay." It's like, what?
I know. He's there.
He just says, "Now free us." Well, I am a god. How about no? How about you just do what I tell you to do, and then I'll free you.
And the voices are so like Disney ride voices, like a voice you get on a fucking Indiana Jones ride or something. It's so bad.
The voice coming out of a speaker.
Disney
is like
sucks.
A paper mache monster.
Breaking news: Disney sucks. I know you all knew that. They just fucking suck. They're so terrible. This is going to end in such disaster now. Like. You have a couple of your quote-unquote big hitters left, right? Doctor Strange and Thor. These movies are going to fucking be garbage because, well...
We'll get to that.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
I think they're on a heavy dose of their own farts, and you just can't get away with that forever. It was only a matter of time. We've been talking about it for years, and their goodwill is drying up. I think it's dried up. It's
gone.
Jump. We're not the only ones saying Jump of the Shark, by the way. No, the critics are saying jumping.
Literally the first.
Oh, really?
Review
Like,
I saw was Jump the Shark.
Yeah,
the normies are saying that.
the normies and the top critics it was down to 69% yesterday. I think it's going to go down further. I'm sure the audience score is going to be in the
80
90s.
the other day.
Yeah.
Now it's 69. Oh shit.
69 for 69, dude.
Bro.
Let's see what.
See what it is? Doctor Strange.
Yeah, what's it at now?
It is at the regular critic score was 80. It's still at 80. If you go to if you hit top critics, oh, it's up to 73% now. We have 11 rottens and 29 fresh, but some of those fresh weren't so. They were like, it's all right.
Yeah.
I don't really give a fuck what they say. We're gonna see it tomorrow, but I already know what it's about. So there's been the spoilers that I read were better than what we apparently ended up with. So
yikes,
that's too
we'll
bad.
Discuss when you're ready.
Hashtag release the Raimi cut is probably out there because there's a whole different movie out there that they shot, an entirely different movie than what they that we ended up with.
The quote from Sam Raimi that came out yesterday was specifically about the reshoots. Am I correct?
Yes.
It's very difficult to shoot a movie when you don't know what the ending is what he said.
What?
He didn't know what the ending was because they were reshooting stuff and changing and changing and changing. If you have a director like Sam fucking Raimi, you let him be Sam Raimi. You go, Sam Raimi, thank you for being here. Write the script, shoot the movie. We will publish it. That's all you have to do. Don't touch it.
Yeah. I mean, it happened to him again, you know?
Again.
A poor guy. So hey, nothing will take away. Evil Dead was the whole franchise was awesome right up to the TV show. That
Show's
first
amazing.
season show is amazing. And Drag Me to Hell, cool movie. I like a lot of his stuff. I think the guy's a genius, and I just think Marvel sucks. Kevin Feige sucks. I'm so surprised he did that. And there might be Mahler thinks that there might be another deal involved. That I hope so. I hope there's a reason he took it. Yeah.
What do you mean another deal?
Like he took this one on the hopes he can get another film that he truly wants to do. Or maybe he just hired Gunn. Like, hey, why not? He's worked with Feige before. Feige is a producer on Spider-Man 2.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, I mean, he might have thought it was different, didn't realize, like, he just became a cog in the machine. A cog in the machine. What was I looking for? Let me read. I'm going to read a couple super chats, and we'll talk about Doctor Strange. I'll also answer any questions anybody has for Moon Knight, which is just.
I have a question about Moon Knight.
Don't waste your time.
I have a question about Moon Knight. Why did you keep watching it? I bailed after the first episode. I've learned my lesson with anything Disney Plus.
I am committed to exposing Disney Plus for whatever they do. I will honestly appraise whatever they put out for Marvel, and I will continue to do that. And if it ends up saving people time, that's great. That's great.
This is why I appreciate you, Gary. And I appreciate also Red Letter Media. You pointed them out. Like, it's between, when they talk about Picard, like, oh my God, it's like, and they just point out everything wrong. Like, how could the people working on that show not look at the way they're being criticized by people who know what they're talking about and not feel like, hey, we should really make a coherent show. I don't know.
Well, and they only slightly addressed it. I expect them to address it more in the finale of like what the Borg's mission is. They just undid it. It's unbelievable what they did. So yeah. Oh yeah.
Man, their thumbnails too are getting ridiculous, and I love it.
Yeah.
No,
each Picard thumbnail is just crazier and crazier.
That's great.
Oh, I'm gonna have fun with that show. I'm gonna play with with Marvel, I think it's important that we keep pointing this stuff out. And for anybody who we talked about it yesterday, but anybody who thinks it's a signal boost, I'm blocked by an entire franchise on Twitter. I'm blocked.
Wait, really?
Yes, I am blocked by Star Trek. Star Trek. An entire fucking franchise. Do you think they see my reviews as a signal boost if they fucking block me? No,
you
they
and
don't.
Robert Meyer Burnett are wearing a badge of honor. You should get like a patch for that.
Red Letter Media is blocked too, so we're all.
Oh, that's hilarious!
All three of us are blocked.
Oh, that's great.
Yep. Oh yeah, I love it. I think it's great. So no, it's not a signal boost. They don't like it. Hey, put out good shit. You won't have to worry about it.
Yeah,
it's pretty simple.
That's difficult, Gary. It takes talent and skill.
Put out good stuff,
creativity.
like Amazon's Lord of the Rings. Just put out good stuff. Oh my God! Oh my God! That is going to just be a disaster.
Oh, they'll. I don't even know how much I can say.
Can you say something?
I can say that I know something. I can say that much. I can say I know something, and once the word is given, you will know. You will know. But oh fuck, it's that's all I'm gonna say,
dude. This is gonna hurt. This is gonna hurt. It's when it comes out. We laugh. I think we laugh because we're gonna cry if we don't laugh. Because at this point, we're so far down the road, and it hasn't even come out yet. But I think there was a portion where we like hopeful, okay, Amazon they could maybe do something cool, and then Wheel of Time came out, and we're like, oh, yeah, this is gonna suck.
As soon as those bad reboot guys were named and involved, I'm like, no,
yeah, right. Like, it's going down the wrong road.
We're gonna get a soft reboot of Lord of the Rings. There's gonna be a fucking girl Frodo. There's gonna be another wizard. There'll be another character that gets all of Sam's stuff. Galadriel will be Aragorn and fucking everybody.
No. This is how they do it, because they did it with
Gandalf.
Star Wars. And the girl Frodo is going to be both Frodo, all Frodo, Sam, Pippin, and Merry, all in one.
All in one. She'll like be
Rey.
the descendant to all of them somehow. And
Right, yeah.
well, I mean, they are kind of, except for Sam, they're all related a little. Well, Pippin's related.
It's a small town.
But it's gonna be a fucking disaster. So they're gonna do kind of a soft reboot. Where season one, this is purely speculation. This is not based on what I know. So this is a different thing. I think season one is probably going to be they're going to try to like do the fellowship thing. They're going to like it'll be kind of a journey to get everybody together. We know that this is basically what they've said. Galadriel will be hunting orc. Now, I don't know when she did this in the Second Age. It might have been, there's a couple of times where she's separated from Celeborn, possibly, and then there's revisions where they're not separated. So what they're going to do is they're going to take any open opportunity to fit in their woke shit, and then there's, all of these original characters that they're bringing in, like tons of them. I'm not seeing why that's necessary. Oh, the reason they say it's necessary is, and I covered it in that last article, is because there is no humans or hobbits. It's like, no, you could have made a story focused on elves. That would have been fine.
That would have been great, because when you take the totality of the movies,
dwarves.
you don't see the elves or the dwarves all that much, because it's the end.
You've got men.
Left.
You've got Numenorians. Okay, the Fall of Numenor by itself could be a show. The Forging of the Rings by itself could be a show. The War of the Last Alliance by itself could be a show. There's no reason to combine all of three of those. And especially when two idiots are doing it. Like we've already seen time and time again what happens. So again, it's great that fans have this eternal hope in them. You don't want that to die, really. But let's be real on this one. This is gonna be shit.
Well,
it's gonna be bad.
I have a question, Gary. Since you're in a speculative mood currently, what on a scale of Halo to Game of Thrones, how much nudity and sex are we going to see in Lord of the Rings? Are we just going to see some Master Chief ass, some Master Cheek, or are we going full
little halfling ass?
Yeah, halfling. Like what? How much nudity, sex? Because if you compare it to the previous Lord of the Rings, where there's almost none, which I think is fine. The original Star Wars trilogy is it's played very much like not a big deal. How much sex, and will we know the sexualities of all the characters?
See, that's the thing. So I don't think there's going to be like scissoring or fucking in Lord of the Rings. No, I think it'll be like side boob, man ass, stuff like that. I don't think we'll even see any ding dongs, but I think there will be a lot. And I mean a lot of gender questioning, we'll just say, and
implications.
And I've already talked about this. I have been told that there's going to be LGBTQ plus representation in it. Absolutely.
Already?
Yes.
Oh my God! Wow. Okay.
I've been told that it's there. It's in there. Whether it's in the background, don't know, but I'm told it's there. Edict from on high, by the way.
Really?
Yep. Edict from on high has to be in there.
Why is this so necessary that everything have it? Can't we just have something like innocent, like the original Star Wars, where it was just like so simple? Like it doesn't matter. I didn't care what the sexuality of Lando was. You know what I mean? Although it was kind of obvious he's hitting on Leia.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? It just like I don't need to know. I don't want to. I don't care.
Everything doesn't need to be in everything.
It's weird. It's weird, and
it's unnecessary.
It's weird that it comes up from on high too, because it's like, did all the like Hollywood executives go to some retreat and we're treated to some talk by somebody with a PowerPoint explaining why this is so important.
Yeah, they went to a retreat in the woods and there was a giant owl statue.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that.
The PowerPoint was on his belly, and it was like, you need
it was
to insert
a
you know what I
child
mean?
sacrifice. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, if you want to take a weird dive into a movie that I discovered actually through Red Letter Media, Under the Silver Lake with Andrew Garfield.
Oh, that's a great movie.
That's a great movie about
Really good movie.
weird, like just how effed up Hollywood is and how it chews up and spits out actors. But
The ending is so crazy.
it's over the top, but it's awesome.
It's great.
But yeah, there's a weird thing where why is it that people are so stupid and mindless and don't have their own ideas or backbone that, or even like moral fortitude, that they just think that, well, everyone's doing it, so that's what we're doing, and this is the thing, right? This is like how Hollywood works.
Yes. Okay. So the short answer is yes. I think what happens is the powers that be, the higher ups, the bankers, don't watch any of this shit, don't understand. They've all been very rich for a very long time. So they do not sit down and watch television shows. This is not part of their lifestyle at all. So what they do is they pay people to basically have opinions for them. Bob Chapek has no opinions. He is an empty vessel. So he paid somebody to have an opinion on the Florida bill, and then he had that person change the opinion for him that he never had in the first place, because he's an empty vessel piece of shit CEO. That's all they are. Whatever humanity is still in them gets carved out once you become a CEO of a giant billion-dollar corporation. I am convinced of that. So I think a lot of the bankers have no fucking clue. So they listen to a lot. Eric July and other people have said this. They listen to a lot of middle management who have activists, well-placed activists. Is there an organization placing them there, or are they just ending up in there? I think they're ending up in there. But I think it's all part of the extortion and infiltration of CRT, ESG, all this other bullshit. But at some point, somebody thinks it's going to make money. At some point, somebody, because and it was making a lot of investor money. Credit scores were increasing through ESG, which gives you more capital to fuck with. I mean, it's not your capital, but it's still money. And I mean, a lot of these companies are running on credit anyway. I mean, they don't have a ton of liquid. I would say Apple still has, well, last time I checked, this was like 3 years ago, Apple had the most liquid of any company. Like the money
and they
fucking
do a lot
laying
of
around.
Foreign financing. That's why you see a million logos at the beginning of movies, like with Dune and whatnot. There's like all these. I love it. These Indian movies that I've been seeing lately, they put like bankers' names in the front of films. It's hilarious, actually.
And you know this, even if the studio has liquid, they're not going to spend it on a movie. They're going to have somebody else pay for it, like every single time. Yeah.
The studios now are basically the gateway to distribution, right? Onto a major streaming service, onto, into, Hollywood theaters. But I think because they're dependent on so much foreign money, and this, you could read this for other things as well. It certainly compromised the product, I think, for sure. But we're seeing more and more that, like, I mean, look, Doctor Strange it's not going to be released in China. Is that right? Like, has that been 100% confirmed?
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah.
It's 100%. Okay.
Not happening. Doctor Strange is not going to make No Way Home money, which is what they wanted. Is what they were expecting. They're like, cameos. That'll get us $2 billion. I'll just say, I won't say anything yet. I won't say anything yet. I'll just say that don't get your hopes up for this movie. Don't get your hopes up for this movie if you're going. I am most definitely buying a ticket to the Northman, and I'm going to sneak in to Doctor Strange.
Dude,
I'm going to give Northman my money.
Second time. So good.
Yeah,
that movie.
I need to go see it a second time.
Yeah, me too.
If I could just also, like, when I saw The Northman the first time, it was just like a normal screen. This time I saw it in the Dolby Digital. If you've ever been in one of those.
That's where I saw it, dude.
Okay, I should have seen it the first time.
It's unbelievable.
The clarity of the image, it's just the sound. It's like, the Dolby Digital is like, that's my.
I was in this fucking luxury comfy chair, just like melting into it that I could recline. The Atmos, it was like everything. It was like,
And it's just
yeah, you could feel it. Oh, it was so fucking cool.
That ending is yeah. We've talked about it, but damn that movie. See it, yeah.
Dude, when he gets cut in the arm at the end, I was like,
oh,
it's over.
And you can see the
It's
light
over.
inside of his arm.
It's over. And then he gets him.
Man.
He kills. Sorry. Feel no
I want to see it again before it's out of theaters. I think that Doctor Strange is going to be taking up the bulk of the screens, which sucks, but maybe not on second weekend. That's all I'll say. Second weekend, I think a lot of screens may open up.
Well, yeah. I mean, you know, I liked the first Doctor Strange movie. I did. I thought it was fine.
No, the first one was great.
It's fun.
It's fun. That ending, I think, is really clever. I think that, you know, his journey is like, you know, it's painful. You see his sacrifice and how he changes. I mean,
seeing Dormammu, dude, that was like, yes, that's the shit I go to fucking Marvel movies for. I want to see fucking things like Dormammu and Galactus. And instead we get Echo and America Chavez. If you want to bring in female characters, dude, Tigra, Moondragon, like that. Fuck yeah. Like, I'm all about that. Hellcat. You know, they Patsy Walker was in Jessica Jones, but she wasn't Hellcat in her hot yellow cat uniform, which would have been, that actress would have been great, to be honest with you. But nope. Instead, we get sassy Manhattan women being sassy. It's really fun. Really fun to watch. Okay, so wait, let me get my Streamlabs going here. Give me just a moment. Is that kids in the background? Do I hear like kids?
Good Lord, so far away.
What is
Hey,
it?
kids, shut up.
No, don't tell your kids.
They're kids. They're kids.
They can't hear me.
Those are wholesome sounds. Yeah.
Sometimes. Sorry.
Those are wholesome sounds. Those are good. And a kid came in right before we came on. She's like, "I love you, Daddy," to Garrett. It's like, it was really cute. It's really cute.
She walked in and she's like, I was like, what do you want? I just want to hug you. Like, all right.
It's like,
oh, man.
You got to take it when you can get it, because when you want to get a hug, she's like, no.
Girls.
I know.
Freaking girls. We got yes, I remember the ding dongs of Gondor. This is fully Shepherd of $4.99. Wait, we might see them. Yeah. No, that would require men to be around, and I'm just not sure. Men are going to be around. I'm not. Thank you for the $4.99. Brian Doyle for $99.99 says, "Hail all. Number 1, will bad reviews force them to delay Fix Thor 2? Saw new Nick Cage flick and it was fun. Haven't heard Gore's comments on it yet. The sharing of your story, Gary. 3/14. Oh, okay. Is that your sobriety date? 3/14/2011. I'm seeing. I don't know what ODAA is. That your AA date? I'm sorry, Brian. Abbreviations are lost on an old man like me, but if that's your sobriety date, congratulations. 3/4/2011. That's a long time. That dude, you're past 10 years, past a decade.
Yeah, over 10 years. That's great.
Fucking awesome. Congratulations. If they focus on nudity, I bet money they'll include a relationship between an elf and a shorter race. You know why. You mean like they did in The Hobbit? Like they made the man a little guy and the woman a big elf. It's so fucking cringe, man. Zach Red Pillar for $5. It's like, that's where that shit started, man. That shit slowly started creeping, then it became everything. To the point where you see a Moon Knight show and it's about a girl named Layla. It's fucking unbelievable.
Yep.
It really is. I mean, I expected it, but it's like, wow, that was on the nose. Like everybody was spot on about that. Oh, Lofty Pixels is going to get wrecked. Absolutely fucking wrecked. He was like, no, it's not going to, it could be different this time, guys. It could be totally different.
Lofty cracks me up. It's almost like
he
has bad takes on purpose.
I
Like,
think he does.
Is he trolling people? Like, someone hear him on like Yellow Flash, which I think I saw you on a couple weeks ago, Gary, like on his Saturday night show. And it's like, he just says the dumbest things out loud. And I'm like, I think is he trying to play devil's advocate or troll?
Maybe.
I don't know.
He could be. That could be it. Or he could just be, he's slightly retarded, but he's our retard. So we love him.
Yeah. It's all right.
Just kidding, Lofty. By the way, good to see him. Anime Matsuri.
That's right.
You're going too, Quarter Black.
I am going.
Yes, you are.
I see all the waifus and the weebs and all that stuff.
The weeby waifus. Whatever. I don't know what any of that is, but I'll go. And we're still working on Dallas too.
That's right.
Came up with another idea that if it works.
A very interesting idea.
I think it is. If it works. Totally ripped it off from somebody, but I plan to do a better job than they did. So, paying homage. We'll just say that. It's Hownin at Hootenanny for $1.99. It says Wheel of Time, biggest dumpster fire ever until Lord of the Rings comes out.
Yeah.
But yes, knowing what I know, pretty bad. Pretty bad. Oh my God. Is it May the 4th? The Last Jedi killed Star Wars. May the 4th be with you. You
should check out my most recent tweet, Gary.
Oh, what does it say?
I think it's a May the 4th related thing.
Say R.I.P. Star Wars.
And then I posted something in the private chat if you want to.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
You got it? You got it?
Maybe not.
Oh, boy.
Oh, what is this?
I've been to that show.
Hold up.
I've been to that show. Get your kids out of the room there, Garrett.
Oh,
risque.
Performance from July 6th, the Great Star Theater. Is it Star Wars?
That's a red guard right there.
Is it Star Wars stripping?
Yeah, it's the Empire.
Yeah. Oh, it's the Empire Strikes Back. I know what this is. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the same guy. That same guy does that book, that Gotham book, and that.
Yep.
He does all these books, and so he's a photographer and does these burlesque shows. He did a Game of Thrones themed burlesque show too.
The problem is, it's in San Francisco.
Yeah, that's what I said. My first thing I looked at, it's like, I'm not going to San Francisco to see this show.
Fuck no.
I don't want my car broken into.
You cannot pay me to go back to San Francisco.
Hopefully he'll make his way to. I saw him in San Diego at the Spreckles Theater.
Yeah, Spreckles is good.
Spreckles is cool. I saw the one-man Star Wars show there, which was freaking amazing. Have you ever heard of that show?
Yep.
Pretty cool.
Oh, that's a good one. Disney kills Han Solo. Disney kills Luke Skywalker. Disney kills Leia Organa. That's good. I'm going to retweet that. I'm going to retweet it right now.
Yeah, please. Spread the word. It's just because I saw these people like tweeting stuff and they're just doing the typical memes that everybody sees. But, I don't know. A buddy of mine sent me that. I thought I have to share it.
It's beautiful.
My buddy Nick Jones. There you go.
Yeah, that guy should go to Comic-Con and do that during Comic-Con. Like down in San Diego.
Yeah, he should. I mean, that would be. Yeah, why is he in San Francisco?
All the nerds would go see the naked storm. There's something really weird about that I kind of like.
No, it's great.
Yeah.
The show is so great, and it's a clever sense of humor, and the pairings of the music. I think I told you they have someone dressed as the Emperor, and they play the song "Wrecking Ball" while he's on a Death Star, swinging on the stage. But it's the Emperor in a robe that comes off, and it's all sexy, but he has withered skin, so it's this weird costume makeup.
Weird.
It's awesome. And so there's cringe moments, and there's also a girl dressed like Luke Skywalker, washing a land speeder, but it's one of those things where it's there's water
that
everywhere.
Is weird. that we're getting into weird territory there. It's
it's good.
I think that's what a lot of the female Thor fans kind of like. That's what's going on there. A little bit of pegger action.
Maybe. I don't know. Look, if Doctor Strange 2 is any indication, I have no hope for the new Thor movie, because I feel like everything's under control. I don't want to get into it. We haven't quite segued exactly there yet, so I'm going to hold off, Gary.
We'll get
Hold my thoughts.
Disney's they're losing the plot, but they're also losing control over what people are saying afterwards, right?
Yes, I think here's the thing: is while they've gained control of product, and not in a good way, where now it's just becoming gentrified Marvel movie. Like now they are losing control of the people that normally would be invited to the world premiere and say all the nice things, right? Like they're starting to say, you're seeing stuff leak out, or you can read between the lines because it's not overly, they're not praising it over the moon, right?
Yeah.
Like it's mildly positive. And then there's people like me that, well, you'll hear what I think later.
Good. Always be honest. There were some critics out there who didn't roast Captain Marvel like they should have, because Marvel was still on top, and they were like, okay, well, this might be a dud, and I might be bullshitting on this one, but the next one will be better. So they cover for the next one. Then they cover for the next one. Then there's the ones who cover it for ideological reasons. There's just like, it's doing the right things. It's still a dumb story, but it's confirmation bias through your art. And then there's like, oh, these guys hate it, I'm gonna like it because these guys hate it. There's lots of factions out there instead of just being fucking real about like what you think of a movie. Now there are some who genuinely like it. Whatever, that's fine. I've no issue with that. But I mean, I would have issue with the taste, but that's normal. There's a lot of bad taste out there.
Yeah, for sure.
For sure. And there's definitely things you can debate me on and stuff, but it's not questionable what's happened to Marvel. Marvel is taking the woke path. They are not taking the path they could be taking to tell better stories that would be more successful, that would make them more money. And the fact that Kevin Feige doesn't know this, for one, proves that he never read a fucking comic book. Never read a comic book. He's told things. He's got people who scour the Marvel records and tell him things. The dude he came out and I put it in a video where he's like, I watch the cartoons.
Right.
And he's the Marvel god everybody praises.
God, man, I remember reading Marvel comics when I was a kid, and just like stuff affected me deeply. There's one, I don't know if you remember this run where the Submariner runs off with Sue Richards, right? And it was just like, I think it was like in the 160s or so, but it was like that affected me as a kid.
You're like,
stuff that happened.
Yeah.
Just like, whoa, wait, because the Fantastic Four was always like, they're gonna break up, and then they'd get someone else like She-Hulk to be in there to sort of fill a spot. So there's always four, right?
Yep.
Which is great, but yeah, like that stuff as a kid just left impressions, and also just Stan Lee's attitude about things. Just like, I don't know, I'm sure, Gary, you were a Foom guy, Friends of Old Marvel.
Yep.
Where you'd get like stickers, and it's just like, it was like the greatest thing ever. Or to read like the letters section even, and the way that that was the early, it's kind of like what's happening now, right? Fan engagement, right? We're talking to people watching this live stream. We're able to engage with them directly. I mean, like Stan Lee cared about stuff like that. So, I read the letter sections of comics, right?
Yeah.
And just like, you'd hear their opinions, you'd get to know who Jack Kirby was. And just like, that was just, that's the thing. It's not a spoiler to say there is no Stan Lee cameo in Doctor Strange 2. And Stan Lee, in my opinion, he's the soul of the Marvel universe, right? Just to have him
face.
not, that's, yeah.
It's weird. It's weird.
It's weird. It's weird.
And if
you've met him, right? You've met Stan Lee?
Yeah. A few times.
Yeah. Yeah. Same here. Oh, man. Yeah.
He was a fun guy. He was always on, he was always in Stan Lee mode, but I caught him not in Stan Lee mode one time. It was great. It's fucking awesome.
He could be a curmudgeon, but not in a mean-spirited way.
No, what he got mad about, I got mad about.
Yeah.
I was as mad as he was. So I'm glad he decided to blast Lloyd Kaufman and I didn't. So because it was the middle of a fucking charity event and Lloyd Kaufman tried to crash it, right? To talk to Stan. Lloyd Kaufman is from Trauma. And he came up with his Trauma girls, who are definitely fives, right? So they're
Trauma.
technically fives, but they're fives wearing G-strings and
fives in 10 girl outfits. Okay, so
Yeah.
squeezed in.
That's trauma,
Fives
though.
squeezed into 10 girl outfits and a marching band behind them, like a 3-piece marching band. Like at the old Padre games, there used to be McNamara's band, right? So it was like a guy with a snare drum, a guy with a tuba, and a guy with a fucking trumpet. It's all boom, 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 boom. It's like a white boy mariachi, without the guitar. And yeah, so he's like dancing like his Lloyd Kaufman way, and he goes right up in the middle of this fucking charity event for kids, by the way, for kids with cancer, and wants to crash it. And Stan just goes, "That motherfucker," and I'm like, "Whoa, damn." Stanley just dropped an F-bomb right in front of me. My fucking video camera wasn't going. I was so mad. But yeah, God, it was so cool. And he was great. Like, he just snapped right back on. Come on over here, Gary. And he put his arm around me, and we took a picture on a yacht, and it was great. We had lunch.
I still have, do you remember these, Gary? They were like paperbacks that were put out, I think in the 70s, called The Origins of Marvel Comics and the Sons of Origins of Marvel Comics. There were these, like, they were perfect bound, right? So they're square bound, and it was like the first issues or the, the origin stories of many of the, classic Marvel characters, Fantastic Four, Thor, Iron Man, Hulk, like all in one. Like, I had to read stuff in reprint, right? Like, I wasn't alive for most of the 60s. So it's like, I was just reading like the giant size would reprint stuff, but I had those and I have them till today. I think I bought them when I was like in 3rd or 4th grade and read those. And I got Stan Lee to sign both of them. And I'm just like, it's my treasure. Like, this is like comics I've had since I was a kid. They're beat to shit because I read them over and over, and I got them signed by Stan. It's like,
yeah.
Man, that guy,
I've got my Amazing Spider-Man #1 signed by Stan and CGC'd with the whole thing. And part of that event was I could bring some comics for him to sign, and they'll CGC on the spot. So that was one of them. So I was really paranoid about that, the Spider-Man one. Then I brought some of those blank covers, and I just had Stan just cite his name fucking huge on them. Just like,
nice.
Take up the whole cover, Stan. And yeah, so I've got 3 of those that are CGC. It was so awesome. And the owner of Torpedo Comics and the drummer from System of a Down was there.
Of a Down.
We went to his shop too in Vegas. It's a good shop.
Yeah, it was a good show.
That was fun. Last time we were there. That was an interesting day. That was 2007, and I won it on eBay. It was an eBay auction, and I'm like, I bid $350, and I won. I won a spot. I didn't think I was going to win. I was like really surprised. So I'm like, shit. All right. I'll be at Comic-Con. Let's do this. It was fun. But yeah, he's the face. He's gone now. Kevin Feige is the face of Disney Marvel, and he sucks. I think he's turning into Kathleen Kennedy. I've said that a year ago, and I still believe
way
that.
before it was cool.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He should have quit. I messaged you this a couple nights ago, Chris. And I said it after I saw Endgame. I'm like, Kevin Feige should retire right now. Like,
it would be the best mic drop ever.
Yep.
He would get all the credit in the world for the success. He'd take like a few years off and then maybe embark on doing a Star Wars trilogy. Wasn't there supposed to be some Kevin Feige Star Wars movie? How many Star Wars things have been announced that didn't happen? Because there's
so many,
shit ton.
Directors that were fired, projects that were announced that didn't
more
happen.
than that's come out, I think. At this point, more than have
list.
actually been released.
There's just for shows. There's the Droid show, which I think will come out. The Lando show, very questionable. The Acolyte, very questionable. Juan Solo's coming out.
Oh God, isn't that already shot? Because they showed some.
Yeah, and it was. They said it was supposed to be 5 seasons. It's going to be 3 now. Okay, all right, okay.
3 seasons of a character we know how they die.
Yeah.
Like, why?
Don't care. Don't. I don't.
When did that Rogue One come out? It was like 10 years ago. It feels like
a long time ago. 2016, maybe.
One.
Because Force Awakens was
2016.
2016.
Yeah. Wow.
Early days.
Who cares?
Of the channel.
Nobody cares. The fuck are you doing? Making a show about him?
I don't care. I don't care about Kenobi. Darth Vader's. I'm not going to watch it. I don't give a shit. Who cares?
It is not Star Wars. That's why I don't care.
Yep.
If it was Star Wars, I'd be excited, but it's not.
Yep.
It's farcical Star Wars, fan fiction Star Wars from retarded fans.
Yep.
So we'll start. We got a $50 super chat from Blue Tiger, and it's spelled TYGR. And blue like the vapes that I use, because I vape. I do. I still have a vice. But I use the cheap. I don't get those like, I don't know,
Those big machines.
those big
ones that look like they're gonna explode.
ghetto vape machines. They look like they're gonna explode. They look complicated. Every time I go in one of those shops, I don't like going to those shops because they're also head shops too. And
Yeah,
not good for sober.
it's too
guys
close,
going
too adjacent.
there. Too adjacent. So I'm like, no. Okay, but for $50, thank you very much. Did you watch Doomcock's Doctor Who video for several days ago? Apparently, he has a source telling him that RTD will retcon the Timeless Children, and Sony wants a doctor with gravitas. I can read. Hopefully, it's true. I miss Doctor Who. I miss Doctor Who too. Blue Tiger, deeply. I've been switching between Babylon 5 and watching Doctor Who. God. And it really, I didn't get any work done yesterday. Quarter Black, I watched Babylon 5 for 4 hours.
I saw the tweets. You're like, it's Babylon 5 time.
So I'll be up late tonight doing my review because I didn't do anything except watch Babylon 5 yesterday. So
You need to refill your cup every once in a while, you know?
Oh, I with this one, it's wait and see. I honestly don't know. I can tell you what I hope. I hope that they erase the Timeless Children and hire the best male doctor for the job. One that's going to, but it can't just, I mean, they're probably going to do this, but they're doing the 60th anniversary first. So David Tennant's coming back. Matt Smith's coming back. Don't think Capaldi's coming back, which is too bad. Eccleston said he's not coming back, which whatever. Fuck off, dude. I'm tired of like caring about that guy. And you know, does Eccleston owes the fans? I think he should come back. I think it would be great for him, but I think Eccleston's the kind of guy who really enjoys people wanting him to be back and him denying people that. That's the kind of dude he is. I think he just gets his rocks off on it for some weird reason. I don't want to understand it. He's a method actor, which means he's a nut. So that's fine. We'll get David Tennant back. We'll get Matt Smith back. That'll be great and maybe they'll do something different, like a series of anniversary episodes or just one. I don't know. But everything hinges on that next Doctor. It's the single most important decision in the history of Doctor Who comes in the next few months. Does this show live or die? That's all we know. Because once we hear that what the Doctor is, that will tell you where they're going to go. What I think is they're going to, what Chris Chibnall says, ignore it, which is not enough. Isn't enough, because it means somebody could revisit it again someday. I do not think they will erase the Timeless Children, because that will be erasing a little black girl and a woman's history from Doctor Who. Do you really think even Sony will do that? Which Sony is not in charge, by the way. It's Bad Wolf, which is in charge, which is Sony owns them, but it's pretty autonomous. It's RTD's decision. Do you think RTD will erase something from Chris Chibnall? I don't know. I don't think so. I think ideology plays too much of a part. Listen to what he said. Okay, I've seen a lot of interviews with RTD. Ideologically, he agrees with the BBC. So we'll see. I hope I'm wrong. And if they do erase the Timeless Children, then you'll get some people back, but you're not going to get everybody back. I've already heard in the chat, like people like, I don't give a fuck. They can erase it. I've already seen it. It's like erasing The Last Jedi. Like, what good would it do? We've already seen it. And you can't.
Yeah, it's too late.
It's too late, you know. You know, it's such a waste. All this woke shit devastated a bunch of franchises that are just not going to survive it. Things might get better, and they went, you know, later on down the road, but it's going to be with new stuff. It ain't going to be with old franchises.
Gary, you're going to have to start a top murdered franchises channel. A whole channel to take care of all this stuff.
Well, I mean, it might be too soon, but I was thinking the follow-up being top 5 aborted franchises. Is it too soon for that?
Ooh, that's perfect.
It's perfect time.
Give myself one on that one. I hope it's true. I want the Doctor Who fans deserve that. They deserve it. So I am. I will be here when it happens. We'll get a decision soon. I think June, July at the latest. I think they've probably already chosen the Doctor.
Ooh. Any speculation on that?
Yeah.
Not a white guy.
Really? You think so?
Absolutely not. Gonna be a white guy.
Why? I mean, that's what's been successful.
I'm fine with it being a dude. I don't care what the dude looks like. I'm like, if it's a great actor that's going to bring in a lot of, that's going to make a fun show, I'm fine. I'm okay.
I agree. Just someone with a British accent, please.
Yeah, it's got to be a Brit.
It's got
to be Brit.
Born in the UK. Yes.
And maybe slightly older. You know, just some gravitas, I think, is like, that's the thing is, when you see it, like, and you know when it doesn't work. Like we haven't talked about necessarily the Kenobi trailer yet, but that's the issue I'm having with this, the Empire's, whatever that character is.
Inquisitor.
Not Inquisitor, the other character. Now we're seeing her talk, and she just doesn't seem to have any gravitas.
Oh, you mean the Inquisitor? You mean the star of the show from
the
Kenobi?
Star of the show?
Yes.
That's right. What's
Black
her name?
female Jedi. Black female Jedi is fine.
Shanae.
Yeah. She just doesn't seem to have any gravitas.
No. That's the thing is like it's fine if you want to find an actress of color, make sure they can act. That's pretty important. Make sure they have a presence. Jodie Whittaker did not have a presence. She is a second-rate, like, fucking sitcom actress at best. Every actor before her had that look in their eyes that, like, yeah, this looks like it's a god playing amongst men and women. They could shoot you that doctor look. And Jodie, when she did it, you just looked like she was going to the manager. That's it.
It's such an important thing because an actor who has gravitas, and I guess gravitas knows no age. I always see Doctor Who as being older, but that's whatever. But like, I like the David Tennant Doctor too. That's just, I thought that was very entertaining. David Tennant looked like he was having fun, and that created a whole lot of new Doctor Who fans. But the important thing is that gravitas to me means whatever the actor says, you not only do you believe it, you get chills. And I guess the best example of that is just Obi-Wan Kenobi telling you what the Force is in the first Star Wars movie. He just tells Luke what the Force is and talks about his father. And that scene, it's a great scene, and it's a guy talking. And it's just a guy talking and explain, and it spurs the imagination. You believe it because of the way Alec Guinness is saying it. And that's what you need. That's what, I mean, the old George Lucas would have said, a special effect is just a special effect. It's, it's the acting really sells it, right? Like, and I don't know. I that really needs to be more of a priority, because all this genre stuff when it doesn't work, it's because an actor is weak.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're they don't want to pay for it. You're seeing the corporatism is killing a lot of this, along with the wokeness, and it's just being cheap. It's just not bringing in the best talent, because they're like, the fans will just show up for this shit anyway. They don't give a shit crap. Right. I think they are thinking about this one. I mean, to go back and get Russell T Davies, that's a huge move. That came out of left field, dude. That is an act of pure desperation. And for Russell to want to do it, it had to be the right circumstances, and it was. It's basically he's got creative control, which is what he didn't have for his first run. That could be a good thing, or it could be a bad thing. We'll find out.
What do you think the chances of it coming back and it being another female? With
none.
They just double down. And this time it's a black female.
I don't think they are. No, they couldn't. Yes, they could be that stupid, but this is Sony, so maybe not. Sony and Bad Wolf. They've already they've already introduced a black female doctor, so they didn't. And by the way, that was a very last minute decision. So they wanted to introduce that so they wouldn't have to feel like they were painted into a corner to do that when they chose the 14th Doctor. That's exactly why they made that decision, which is, if you think about it just for a second, the most racist and sexist thing you can possibly do, but they did it. So that's the reason. And that's why I'm convinced we'll get a dude. Is it going to be a dude, a non-binary situation? Maybe. And then it's dead. It's just dead. Like, don't even need to waste your time once you hear that.
You think they would go there, really?
Yes. I would love to say no, but I've seen way too much over the last few years to think that they will ever fucking learn their lessons. Like, even with the corrections, they weren't as good as they could have been. Like, people will point out Ghostbusters Afterlife. Ghostbusters Afterlife was good. Story behind the movie was better than the actual movie itself. But was that really the most exciting decision you could have made with Ghostbusters? Like I said, I thought the movie was fine. It hit you in all the feels at the end and everything. But, I mean, we really would have rather have seen the old Ghostbusters for an entire movie. Let's be real. That's what we wanted. No. That's what we wanted. 100%. That's what we could have had, and we didn't get for some reason. So they're still, like, very hesitant to give the fans what they really fucking want. Because they're still of the attitude, we'll give the fans what they need, not what they want. Fucking that whole attitude. You better be pretty fucking good to have that attitude. Some people can have that attitude, but you got to be best of the best. And we're not dealing with that in most cases. George Kessler for $5, and thank you again, Blue Tiger, for $5 says, "Hey, Gary, have you seen Angry Joe's review on Picard? He gave episode 9 a 0 out of 10. I swear he's straight up having a red pill moment." Well, he keeps apologizing for it, George. Yes, I usually don't watch Angry Joe. Not a big fan. Not a big fan of that dude.
Yeah, not a fan.
Yeah, but he's like, I'm a progressive, and this isn't progressive. It's like, dude, this is the Star Trek Discovery you were liking, by the way. This is the same shit. This is the same fucking shit that you were liking earlier. It is, a 0 out of 10, I think, is a very accurate score for Picard. So, as I said earlier, tide is turning. Winds of change are blowing. And some people recognize it, and you're going to start to see a little bit of a shift of these brave souls who wouldn't call shit out before, but they're going to start doing it now that it's a little safer. Thanks to a lot of people, a lot of fucking people who have been talking about it. Some of us aren't around anymore because we were talking about it very early. Yeah. So I did see it. I watched the Picard. After I review Picard, I watched the Picard reviews. It's still unbelievable that the Borg Queen was just lonely, folks. They aren't out to assimilate civilizations for perfection. The Borg Queen was lonely, which makes
not every villain has to be sympathetic. Can we stop this trend?
Yeah,
let a villain be a villain. It's a Borg. It's a computer. It just wants to assimilate. Come on. It's good enough there.
It just annoys me because it's very clear to me that the writers are not influenced by any sort of life. It just seems like they're influenced just by previous Star Trek, but it's so filled with emotion. Every time I see it, I'm like, first of all, I laugh that it's like, how did I dodge this bullet, Picard? But then I just the reviews, like, Gary, I've watched your stuff. Obviously, I watch RLM, and it's hilarious. It's hilarious just how bad it is, and I can't believe anybody's watching it. And you pointed out, Gary, that it doesn't even trend on social media.
Nope.
Like, nobody seems to care. It's just it's just gone.
It trends when they pay for it, and that's it. It never ever, like, even Doctor Who. Like during the flux, it like with like 3,000 tweets, but it was on the trending page. It was there. Like you never see Star Trek there. Never.
Yep.
Not with 1,000 tweets, not with anything. It's never there. So, based on our whole argument from Friday Night Tights, where we can't see the numbers, it's very easy to figure out what's popular and what isn't. Okay. All you have to do is base it on interest. Just go to Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. You will know if something is popular or not, if it's really, truly popular. With Star Trek, it's the same 20 motherfuckers talking about Kurtzman Trek. And they all have Picard in their avatar, and they just created their account. And it's all, I'm not going to say it's bots. I'm just going to say it's probably the same 20 fans always talking about it, filling up my timeline with their bullshit, which I completely ignore. Go, feel free. I don't block anybody. I don't mute anybody. I let them go. Nobody cares about the show at all. Doctor Who, we have ratings, so we can compare it. So Doctor Who trends, and it's got horrifically low ratings. Star Trek doesn't trend, so it must have fewer people watching it than Doctor Who. It must. It absolutely must, because it doesn't trend on Instagram, Facebook, and not on YouTube. The reviews don't get any fucking views. So that tells me nobody's fucking watching it. And I'm pretty convinced. CBS, if there was 10 million people watching Picard, you don't think they would fucking be telling everybody right now? Come to Paramount Plus.
Yeah.
FOMO.
I wonder.
Come watch our amazing show.
I wonder if the Star Trek socialist is still watching
Star Trek, the communist, the Star Trek communist. Yeah.
You did a video on him years ago. Like a guy that was first of all, it was embarrassing. It was so cringe and funny. His posts. I think not just you, a bunch of people did videos on this guy.
Yep.
I wonder if
he's a communist, so
is that what he said?
I went to see. I'm like, is it
every
a
one of his
troll?
arguments are as good as a communist can argue communism.
I think the guy's special needs, to be honest with you.
So on the spectrum there.
Yeah, he's a bit on the spectrum. So that's why I was like, oh, I'll take a little easy on him, but Jesus. Horror for $1. Fuck you, by the way. There's a link in there. Please look at timestamp 4308. Red Letter Media talks about Star Trek Picard, how it ruined OG Trek for them. Watch on the stream if possible. It's really heartbreaking. I will say that people can go to the timestamp. I know what you're talking about, where they get serious later in the review. And they talk about, I've talked about this. Az has talked about this. So this is why Az stopped watching it, because he couldn't watch TNG, and I can't watch TNG. And it's got a little bit to do with Picard and a lot to do with the cast, like going out there and rocking the vote for Biden, and like I wouldn't want them rocking the vote for anybody. By the way, I just don't think that's Star Trek's place. Kurtzman has come out and called it a platform. So yeah, I watch Star Trek. By the way, that's what people call the original series. I call it Star Trek because that's what it is. That's what I still watch. And I could probably watch DS9 still. Haven't watched it, but I can watch it. TNG? Nope. Can't look at it right now. It's absolutely, I feel the same way. And same way with Star Wars. Like, because I saw Disney trilogy. I don't know if I'll ever go back to Star Wars. It's not looking good. Not looking good.
What if Disney continues to put out stuff that continues to like pick at that wound? It's never going to heal. You need some time to like, okay, they're going to stop trying to bug this, and I can go back to the original trilogy. But yeah, I'm the same way. It's hard to go back, and I really have not watched the entire trilogy or even one of the original trilogy movies in like 3 years, which is insane. Which is insane for me. I was
used to be
huge Star Wars fan, right?
I'd watch the trilogy once or twice a year, easy.
Yeah, easy. We'd go watch it at my dad's house. We'd be watching it at my house. I'd show my kids. I just haven't had the urge to do it, and that's why I don't want to watch any of this freaking Picard shit, because I love TNG. Before Picard came out, I rewatched the entire series with my kids, and they loved it, and
that was
my 90s.
Dude, that was my whole 90s was Star Trek. That's like all I, you
Right.
know, I didn't.
Yeah.
I was sober, so I didn't party. I went to shows, and I worked 2 fucking jobs, and I watched Star Trek when I got home. That's what I did. It's like, that was it.
The whole first half of my life was Star Trek Next Generation. My dad loved it. He had all the action figures that came out. He had a giant poster that he had framed himself on the wall. So it was like a constant in my house. Next Generation. You saw all the crew up on the bridge. It's a constant. So to see it like fall now, and all of the cast members, like you're saying, coming out and saying stuff like this, it's just like, please, can you just stop? Because it does mean something to people.
What's worse is the Ready Room, which Red Letter Media did a good job of intercutting. Will Wheaton's Ready Room, which is just cringe personified. It's so bad.
He seems like such a suck up.
He is,
like,
dude. That guy is so thirsty.
And he's not on the show, right?
No,
I mean, he's not, and he's not gonna be on the show. Like, how would I mean?
Did they not ask him to be on the show?
he's so atypical, like Z-list Hollywood douchebag. That's what he is. I met a few of them in my little time down there. Not the biggest fan. Just like totally disingenuous pieces of shit.
Well, he also kind of went down this whole rabbit hole of just being really self-righteous with like posts about I don't know. It just
He's a girl. He's basically like a girl. WG for $20. Thank you, WG. Says, howdy, Chris and Gary. I just saw the new Obi-Wan trailer, and now I wish Governor DeSantis would push through a Don't Say Star Wars bill for Florida. Hey. You want to watch the trailer? You want to pull it up? Let's do it.
I got it.
Let's watch the trailer for a show. I'm not going to watch. By the way, not watching Kenobi. Not going to review Kenobi. I'll talk about news, but I just don't care.
Well, let's go.
Let's do this. Thanks, Mike. Wait.
They're coming.
That looked really familiar right
Stay
there.
hidden.
Yep. Look like Underworld.
Will not survive.
Yep.
Leave us alone. When the time comes, he must be trained. Like you trained his father? You still want Kenobi. He's gone.
Maybe you've been looking in the wrong places. I want every lowlife and bounty hunter to squeeze him. You can't fight all we want!
Kamel.
Oh my God, that's her voice. Rewind that. You can't make everyone. You can't.
that's the opposite of gravitas.
Wow.
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
that's Kamel Nanjiani from Eternals.
it is.
Oh, really?
Oh,
Yeah, that's him.
I want to. That's a face you'd like to slap,
Yeah, well.
like a Will Smith. Just. Yeah, why couldn't you slap him, Will?
What is it?
You can't escape him. Yeah, it sounds like she's going through puberty. You can't escape him.
I don't know. I just wish that woman had like I actually felt something when she's talking. It just seems like she just doesn't have weight as an actress. I think,
You couldn't find some
No.
female actress with a deeper voice, right?
or
They're out there.
intimidating,
They exist.
something. She looks like some really good cosplays I've seen.
Yeah,
you know?
she just looks like black female Vader.
I guess, but like
That's all it is.
That's all it is. It's a subtle reboot, kind of thing. Black female Darth Vader. This is Underworld straight up. I'm going to show
but
Underworld,
okay,
yeah.
again, for one, the Underworld would have been a cool show. That would have been a fucking cool show.
This is straight up Underworld.
It is.
Look at that. The exact same shit.
Wait, is that? Yeah. No, I've seen the Underworld video that leaked. Is it still around?
I'm gonna find
It's still around. It very much looks like Blade Runner with Star Wars people with stormtroopers and shit. That's what it looks like.
Underworld,
which is fine. I mean, I'm totally down with that. I dig it. But for one, the focus didn't look to be on. It looks like Kenobi is going to be walking around in the fucking sand while everybody's trying to find him. So all the action will be with her and with other characters, and Kenobi will just be sitting in the sand doing until he leaves the planet, by the way, which we found out he's going to do, which was his only fucking job. And here's the problem. See, like the better story would have been him being in a town and it being like a Western, but we already did this with Boba Fett and the Mandalorian on Tatooine. So it's waste of time.
Can't do it again.
And then acting, by the way, like he needs to be trained. That was terrible. Like you trained his brother. That was not good. That was not like Alec Guinness. So yeah, it was.
They both seemed like they were they weren't playing their original characters from the prequels. They were trying to be closer to the
Those are two good actors.
trilogy, but it's like, don't do that.
Those are two very good actors, by the way. Very good actors. We're not gonna get my Bright sequel. I'm a little bummed about that. They canceled it.
Oh, really? That's canceled?
Yeah.
I like that movie. I thought it was good.
Loved
and
it.
the Wonder Twins? That and the Wonder Twins. This is the worst day ever.
Yeah, Wonder Twins.
Wonder Twins.
I was so excited for the Wonder Twins.
They just did the casting announcement. They're like, yeah, we're not making that. We're not making that.
Zaslav found it. He's like,
Just kidding.
what the fuck? Wonder Twins? Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, make a Superman movie with Henry Cavill if you like money.
I can't believe people were surprised Ann Sarnoff got fucking shown the door. She was a fucking moron. She is the moron behind a lot of these decisions. Sarnoff and Emmerich still being there doesn't help either. But Sarnoff was a dipshit. Let's just sit back and watch them flounder in the world of their own making. I bought marshmallows, says Manowar665, the neighbor of the beast, for $6.65. I agree. I think we're going to be making lots of popcorn. You can get out the s'mores. You can kick back and, grieve the loss of your franchise and then laugh at these fuckers pay the consequences. Their chickens have come home to roost. Enoch Mamon for $25. I never watched Moon Knight, thank God, but basically you're saying that the only time they show action is when a woman is doing it. Was that because of budget, agenda, or a combination of both? I assume both. Yeah, it would be both. I'd say budget limitations were definitely part of the show. And they also didn't want to show a bunch of killing, which, well, then why are you doing superhero shit?
Right.
Like, seriously. Like, Moon Knight throws little knifey things, little moon knifey things at people. They're going to fucking kill you. Shit. He used to carry Uzis. That would have been fucking cool. But he flies now. It flies now. Moon Knight flies now. Somehow Moon Knight, a character who had no powers, flies. Deeds MN for $25. Gary, what is your definition of a normie? I'm total nerd in my family friend group, but probably normie in the fellowship crowd. Is being a normie subjective? Well, my definition of a normie is somebody who it's not really it's not an insulting term for me, for one. I would say a normie is somebody who just works every day and doesn't really give a fuck about superhero movies or genre They might go occasionally, but they don't give a fuck. That's a normie.
Yeah.
Like they'll go when it's recommended, but they don't think about it very much. The definition of a normie truly is from AA, and it's somebody who can drink normally as opposed to an alcoholic. So that's where I got the term.
Mm.
And other people have used it. The kids use it in a totally different reference than I did, but like it's been a term in AA forever. And a normie is somebody who can have half a glass of beer at a bar and walk away and leave it half. Like an alcoholic cannot do that. An alcoholic needs to finish that beer and drink themselves into oblivion every night. So
I think it can be a subjective term. Like
yes.
I'm in certain areas, you can be an expert in things, to an extent, as a super fan. And then certain other areas, you could be a complete normie. Like I don't know anime all that much, but I've watched a couple episodes here and there of things that people like suggest. So I'm a total normie there. Like to Chris Gore, I'm a total normie to film like that is like the movie that we watched together. The Lathe. Yes, it's like I'm a total normie to that kind of like super obscure film culture in movies like that. So yeah, you could be a normie in a bunch of different areas, but like also you can love comic books, watch movies, watch TV shows, and be an expert over there.
It's
so I think
it's totally subjective term.
Subjective,
exactly. That's what's great about a fellowship, and FNT, which is kind of how I came to like, discover Ryan and just a bunch of other people was through FNT. But like, not everybody can be an expert in everything. Like when it comes to Lord of the Rings, I'm a normie. Okay, I'm a normie when it comes to Lord of the Rings. When it comes to other stuff, I consider myself, not a normie, whatever the other, the opposite end of that term would be. But when it comes to Lord of the Rings, so I look to you, Gary, about
Right.
LOTR, and Tolkien stuff. Like I want someone who really knows what they're talking about to educate me on it. But I am a fan of those movies. I love those movies. I have the Blu-rays of the theatrical releases and the extended editions, and they're awesome. And the music I just listened to on a loop, during those years. It was just great.
Do you have those special edition soundtracks, Chris?
I don't have the special edition soundtrack.
Bro,
are they good?
Dude, they're shaped like books, right? So they have a CD, they have vinyl and CD. And
Nice.
they're expensive, dude. But it's every second of music from all the films. Every second of it.
It's like unused cues and stuff like that. I love when they do stuff like that.
It's like I forgot how many albums are in it, but it's got like 6 or 7 discs in it. It's fucking nuts. It's so good. But they're hundreds of dollars. Well, the first one, Fellowship, is collectible. Like it's hundreds of dollars to get it now.
Wow.
Yeah. But if you're a fan of that stuff, kind of worth it. But yeah. Okay. I think it's a good time to start talking about Doctor Strange spoilers. I think we're there.
Yeah.
So, fair warning, ladies and gentlemen of both genders. We're going to talk about Doctor Strange spoilers. I haven't even seen it. I just don't care. But you might, and I don't want to ruin your experience. So you can come back later and watch this on Nerdrotic Live, or you could just stay here and not give a shit. It's up to you. But we appreciate you being here, and thank you.
We love you.
Okay, how many people have left? How many people have left right now?
We're going to count down. We're going to count down. Oh,
okay, cool. Gary,
countdown. You ready? 5,
Here we go.
4, 3, 2, 1. Spoilers for Doctor Strange 2.
Doctor Strange dies. Well, one of the variants dies.
Yes.
Which explains the zombie. But let's launch right into it. The movie's a mess. The movie is a freaking mess. It's very obvious that much of the film was reshot because it has shifting tones, right? The movie's going this way, and the two battling tones are Sam Raimi and his personality, which lost to this movie feels like it should have been on Disney Plus. It has a Disney Plus feel, and in addition, there's they make a big point at the end. It says a Kevin Feige production. At the very end of the movie. Yep.
Oh, man.
Kevin Feige production.
Okay. Before you get going, I have a theory. Kevin Feige's a producer, been a producer all his life, not very creative dude. Doesn't write, doesn't direct, it probably sticks in his craw a little bit. So he wants to be a creative super bad. Because you know what? Successful people want to be what they can't be. You know, Bob Iger's the same way. Bob Iger was giving notes in the fucking Mandalorian. This guy's a weatherman. What the fuck are you giving notes on the Mandalorian for? So I have a feeling, it's gone to his head. So go on.
It's a Kevin Feige production. 15%, I'd say 15, maybe 20% of the movie is like pure Raimi. Like, oh man, this is like stuff even inspired by the Evil Dead films, where you're like, this is badass. But that's so little of the film that it's this uneven tone. It's very clear that there was a battle. And here's the problem with the film. If you watched Doctor Strange, like, great movie, I'd like to watch the sequel because I want to see what happens next. Here's the problem. Doctor Strange 2 is not just a sequel to the first Doctor Strange, because they do at least include some of the story elements from the first Doctor Strange movie. It's also a follow-up to WandaVision. It's also a follow-up to No Way Home, Spider-Man No Way Home. It's also a follow-up to Endgame, right? And the events of Endgame. It's
too much.
So it's burdened with having to tie up loose ends from all of those things, which makes the sort of video game story. The story it's not similar to, but it has the same problem of the Rise of Skywalker, where it's like just complete. It's all exposition. We have to do this, and then we have to get this thing, and then after we get the thing, and we have to get it from another universe,
MacGuffins.
and the only way to get it. What's that? The book. I forget the name of the book.
The Darkhold.
Yeah, that book. They have to get that book, and it's in some other universe that they have to jump to using America Chavez. She has a power. It's never explained what her power is. I guess she can punch hard, and then she doesn't even understand what her power does. So she's also speaking. We were speaking earlier about gravitas. She has none. This actress may as well have been plucked from a Disney Plus show. Was she on a Disney Plus show? I don't know. The actress would be fine in a Disney Plus show, not in a movie. I mean, she just has no, and all of her jokes fall flat. There's like, clearly the writers thought they were clever. It landed. And the thing is this, I'm in a theater with, it's like critics, but it's also fans, because there were a lot of people dressed up to go to the screening that I happened to get into. I took a friend of mine who is a normie, who's like, yeah, I'll see the Marvel movies. And he's a working screenwriter who says, oh, wow, the tide is changing. He goes, I'm getting work again. So that's another conversation. So just so much of the humor just doesn't work. It doesn't land, right? And like, I didn't finish watching WandaVision, so I don't know. I don't know exactly what happened, but whatever. In any case, let me dispel a couple rumors right here. Everything you heard about, like, Deadpool's going to be in it, Tom Cruise plays Iron Man, there's going to be no one's in it. There are none of those cameos.
Wow.
Thought we're going to be. They took what was a brilliant concept, a multiverse, and squandered it. There is one sequence, about three sort of back-to-back scenes with variants, which you've seen that leak. Can we talk about what it is?
Yes.
Leak. Did you see the
There's
leak?
some leaks all over
I am aware
Twitter
of the leak.
You're aware. Okay,
Yeah.
so you saw Black Bolt, you saw
Which looked
Captain
terrible.
Carter, the other Captain, the new Captain Marvel,
Yep.
which I actually thought that she's a better Captain Marvel. That actress does have something of gravitas. Like, I think she's better than Brie Larson, 100%. But so you've got them, and then most disappointing was John Krasinski as Mr. Fantastic. And let me just explain. Okay, let me just explain.
Man, that's what everybody was hoping for too.
Okay, I love the Fantastic Four. It was
do
my
I.
gateway comic along with Batman. I read the giant size issues to read all. I read the first 100 Kirby Lee issues of the Fantastic Four. I love the cartoon from the 60s. Then there's the other cartoon, I think from the 80s, with Herbie the Robot. Watched all that shit. Love the Fantastic Four. I think you saw, if you scroll back in my timeline on Twitter, I even posted some photos of myself because I have a Mr. Fantastic costume.
Dude, the 90s animated series was dope.
Yeah,
Absolutely dope.
I love it. And to me, in a way, Gary, I'd be curious what your thoughts on this. I think the Fantastic Four is very much like Doctor Who in the sense that it's about exploration, right? And I feel like the Fantastic Four would probably make a better series, not on Disney Plus, but a serious television series. There we go. Embarrassing. But yeah, we did you could do the limbo under my arms, which was great. That was at a bar in LA called Super Bar that didn't last very long, but it was supposed to be a cosplay bar, like with just meetups with like movie trivia and geek trivia, all that kind of stuff. Anyways, so there's the one sequence, and John Krasinski, they introduce him. It's the smartest person and the smartest man in the galaxy, Reed Richards, and he sort of stretches down. They couldn't even get the stretching effects are no better or worse than those Tim Story Fantastic
Wow, so that's
man.
And I said this before, but like they perfected him in The Incredibles with Elastigirl.
Exactly. Yeah. It's to me like you've never seen a great screen adaptation live action of Mr. Fantastic. It's never been done. And there are some great, like I could just in my head bring up frames of like, you know, Reed Richards stretching with his torso around Ben Grimm to keep him from beating the shit out of Johnny, right? Like in my head, there's just so many great poses. And a lot of those poses, if you've seen documentaries about Stan Lee, a lot of those poses are from Stan Lee. Stan Lee was the basis for Reed Richards. Stan Lee was also the basis for J. Jonah Jameson. I'm not telling you anything you don't know, but like, that's why if they're going to try to recast or reimagine the Fantastic Four, I'm 100% against it. It's the first family of Marvel. Can we just keep them pure or set in the 60s? There is like a joke that Doctor Strange makes a lame joke to Reed Richards when he comes in. Didn't you chart in the 60s? That's the joke.
What?
Didn't you chart in the 60s?
Oh.
Yeah, it's pretty lame. So there's this, right? They're the Illuminati, right? Wanda comes in and murders all of them. And in not cool ways. Meaning like we've just been introduced, and John Krasinski, it's like he couldn't, because his scenes were so few, he couldn't come up with what his take on Mr. Fantastic was going to be. Right? Like, how is he going to play Reed Richards? He plays Reed Richards as Jim from The Office. It's a forgettable performance. And of course, you know, there's some Marvel fans in the audience that are screaming at everything, especially Captain Carter, like, woo, you know, they're just like screaming. And of course, who do they kill first? All the men.
Yes.
And then the ones will last longer, and their deaths are cooler deaths because, you know, they're not as stupid as the guys. Yeah. So that's it. That's all you get in terms of multiverse stuff. And I mean, we could go deep into the story stuff if you want to, but I feel like you want to save that for FNT. I'm just giving you my impressions. I don't want to,
is the story more Wanda's or Doctor Strange?
Well, it is more Wanda's. Doctor Strange is kind of like his story is, and there's a cringe opening wedding scene where, you know, his ex-girlfriend is marrying somebody else. Can you guess who she's marrying? Not who, what kind of person she's marrying. You don't need to say it out loud.
It's the cat.
No, you don't need to, it's okay, Gary. You already know. You already know.
So they cuck Doctor Strange.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Wow. In the opening scene.
In the opening scene. And he's not the Sorcerer Supreme at any point in this film.
No, he never is. He never is.
Wow.
He never is. No.
So I was thinking they would kill Wong. He would, you know, die in a heroic way. And then he would be the Sorcerer Supreme. So you're telling me that not even that. By the end of the film, he's still not Sorcerer Supreme.
Wong is pretty cool in it, actually. I mean, I always liked his character, but like
he's not supposed to be the Sorcerer Supreme.
He's not Sorcerer Supreme.
To be the Sorcerer Supreme. But he's in it. He's in it. You know, a decent amount of scenes. He doesn't take over or anything. But America Chavez is just so weak. There's this line too that just made me just cringe. Just under my breath, I was like, fuck this. Like, so they're bouncing to these different multiverses, and they go to this one multiverse, and she grabs some food, and then I guess, like, you know, she says this line, she's like, you know, in most universes, food is free. Like a whole reference to like, wouldn't it be better if just every universe was communist and everything was free?
Sure. Like, who's going to grow that food?
Yeah,
Dipshit.
exactly.
Who's going to go work the farm? You're going to go work the farm to grow that food for free?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's so in your face. Anyway, so and then they do this like this just lame ass thing where they go and they show kind of her backstory, right, with her two moms, which is so. It's just
they did it.
They did it. Oh,
so she's not Puerto Rican. She's an alien.
She's an alien. Yeah, from another. There you go.
Yeah.
But she's an alien who speaks Spanish. So there you go. She's
they just from planet Puerto Rico.
Yeah,
just enough representation.
Just enough, I guess.
Puerto Rico's
but like,
nice. I like Puerto Rico.
They do this thing where they sort of see like a memory or something from their past in this. It's like a shop where you stand on a thing and they show you a memory. So you see her memory and you see, Doctor Strange. It's all about him wanting to like find. You can tell he's pining for his ex-girlfriend, right? Like that's kind of the thing, but that's it. That's all that's going on with Doctor Strange. That's all.
He's not trying to fix like the No Way Home shit. He's just pining for his ex-girlfriend while Wanda goes and looks for her fake children and murders a bunch of people for him.
Exactly. So she's looking for her children, but of course she finds a universe where there's already a variant of her that exists. It's all like, couldn't you just date again and make your own kids like in the current universe that you're in? Like you could go and
like the healthy way.
Her vibrator got repaired at the end of WandaVision and just fucked off. Did he not show up again?
Well, I mean,
does Vision show up again in the movie?
No, Vision's not in the movie.
Jesus Christ.
What the fuck?
What?
Yeah. And she's the main baddie. And it's just sort of, I'm just tired of people fighting with light. I just saw the
sky beams and lasers and shit.
Sky beams and light. And there's a sequence where like, how is Wanda so powerful? Like, it's not really explained, like how she could take out effectively what is that universe's Avengers. They call them the Illuminati. And she just takes them all out like that. I mean, they're in the movie less than 10 minutes. It's just, it.
She taught herself.
She taught herself.
At the end, at the end of WandaVision, she taught herself.
But the movie is just, it's so wildly like back and forth in terms of tone. The story is, it's very much like every character has their moment to be Captain Plot Explainer, right? I have to explain something, which of course none of us care about, right? Like it's not been, the weight of it hasn't really, it doesn't. And I feel like Sam Raimi just got a bad script. I mean, it's the guy who wrote Loki, right? Like,
well, yeah, that explains it. That explains why it's shit.
That would explain it.
Because Loki was shit. And they got the Loki writer and they didn't bring up Kang. Not once.
Yeah.
In the multiverse movie, in the fucking multiverse movie, they didn't bring up Kang.
Well, I feel like the multiverse might have been like, if they had built to this, like the original, the good Marvel movies built up to Endgame, right? That was a decade of building characters, individual stories. They all come together. They overcome challenges. There's conflict. And then Endgame was the penultimate. The multiverse story should have been that. It should have been the end of maybe they make like the story arc like 5 years instead of a decade. Fine. But this is in your Marvel phase 4. And it's just, and it doesn't, and everyone's imagination, like you saw all the quote rumors, Deadpool's in it, Tom Cruise as Iron Man. Like, I'm sure we would have seen like Chris Evans, but just like a normal Chris Evans. Maybe he didn't take the super serum, right? And he's older, like whatever. None of that. Your imagination about what this movie could be is better than the movie turned out.
Oh,
and it's frustratingly bad. It's also 2 hours and 6 minutes. There is a mid-credit scene, which sets up a part 3. I'm not going to tell you what the mid-credit scene is, but best thing in the whole movie is Bruce Campbell is in the movie.
Fuck yeah.
And used in a way that Sam Raimi always loves to use Bruce Campbell, which is to torture him. So just stay to the end, like with all Marvel movies.
Is Bruce Campbell Mephisto? Just kidding.
That would be amazing.
That would be so funny.
He's an inconsequential character. He's not anyone of weight at all, unfortunately.
No, he's Bruce Campbell. He's never inconsequential. Come on.
But I mean, I could see Sam Raimi going back to Sony and saying, I want in. I want to make one of these movies. Give me Toby Spider-Man.
When we were coming back from the coof, I'm like, Hollywood needs like this really fucking sure thing, like slam dunk sure thing. And I was like, close. I was close. I said, make Spider-Man 4 with Sam Raimi. Everybody would show up. Everybody. Nobody would care if it was fucking
Easy money.
Spanish flu. They would go to that fucking movie. It was easy money. They did. No Way Home was that film, but that's what they needed to do. Hollywood is just, dude. The fact that you said that it says the Kevin Feige production at the end says it all. Says it all.
And there's a weird. It's like there's two competing like tones in the movie. One is Sam Raimi trying to be himself, and the other tone is this is a Disney Plus show, not a movie. It's a TV show, and there's just moments where I'm like, this just feels like Disney Plus. There's something about it that feels small. Then you see Raimi kind of come in with his voice, which he's just, it's like he's struggling to be a part of the movie that he's making. And this is why you see like that's why like hearing what Garrett, you were talking earlier about what Sam Raimi has been quoted as saying in the press. None of that surprises me. None of it surprises me in the least. So this is disheartening. It's disheartening to hear him say that, but also like, who's surprised? You know, Disney seems to have a thing where every Disney movie is just a Disney movie. It could be made by anybody. And then on occasion, you'll get a director, like a James Gunn that can kind of have his own voice and get away with it. I don't know how he does, but he just does. And maybe Taika Waititi a little bit, but we'll see. Thor: Love and Thunder does not look good based on what I've seen. And if Doctor Strange is any indication, I think Thor: Love and Thunder is just not, it's going to be the same. It's going to be Disney Plusified. Yeah,
it's going to be Thor kind of kicking back and trying to find himself for the 8th time. And then he finds himself that in a female. The end.
And there's like I said, 2 other comments. The Mr. Fantastic thing was really disappointing me because I loved the casting of John Krasinski.
Pulling him out and his first appearance in the MCU is to die. That is terrible.
That is so insulting.
That is fucking terrible. That is terrible. That is a bad story decision.
There's a weird thing where Wanda says, asks like, because he talks about how he has kids and I don't want to go into it too much. I don't want to go into too much detail on spoilers.
Does he beg for his life?
A little, but
no!
Man, they cuck him right in the beginning.
No. It's just like you're like, oh, so that's all the screen time, and just like they just take him out like that. It just like that's the introduction to the Marvel universe, the MCU of Mr. Fantastic.
MCU's done.
It's used in like a terrible way. I'm watching this going like, okay, and they're going to make a Fantastic Four movie in the next 2 years, but we've already seen Mr. Fantastic die, or they can even use John Krasinski.
I don't think they are.
John Watts like left now, and the rumor is that John Krasinski wants.
I would have left too. He probably found out that. Oh, wait a minute! You're going to introduce my
probably
character.
Saw this
fucking
movie.
Kill him. Like that's like. That's a fundamental non-understanding of storytelling and how audiences react to heroes dying. Once you see him die, he's dead in your head canon. So you see dead guy, like and it shows how much you respect your own fucking material, which is not at all. People sense that. People, especially fans, the ones you rely on, the hardcore fan, which helps your property survive over years and years when there's nothing being made because we're the ones reading the comic books and spreading that word of mouth for free, which is what fans do. And that's the part of fandom that's great. And it's shit you can't buy that all the studios have taken for granted because they don't understand it. Or they don't respect it. They don't respect the fan. And they don't give a fuck. And it really shows. And this is like a slap in the face to every Fantastic Four fan.
What people were saying was this is going to have more cameos than Endgame. It doesn't have any more cameos than just a regular Avengers movie. There's more in Civil War. It's really just one sequence of the film, this Illuminati sequence. And
the rest of it's Wanda looking for fucking kids and and Doctor Strange pining for his girlfriend.
And little bunch of different Doctor Strange variants. And then a thing that happens at the end that's confusing. Do you want to hear there's like a big cameo at the end that is
I know who it is.
You don't care? Okay, everybody, I'm sorry, I'm ruining the movie. Charlize Theron is in it, and she plays Doctor Strange's girlfriend. What's her name?
Cleo.
Is it Hera?
No, it's Cleo.
No, it's Cleo. That's it. Yeah. Why did I get that? like I said, I'm a normie when it comes to the Doctor Strange comics. So, but yeah, so she's
Charlize Theron.
Charlize Theron
she's in
goes
it.
up at the end and basically says,
She's
"Hey,
like
we got to go."
65 years old. Sorry, but
Basically, all the leaks that you were talking about are on Twitter right now.
Oh, they're already on Twitter. So
yeah, they're already on it.
Oh, okay.
There's like footage from inside theaters and stuff.
Okay, well, there you go. But like, it's disappointing because you think of like, well, the multiverse, like think of the things, your imagination of what is possible is like, they really sort of took this storyline and it should have been like a movie that kind of caps off an arc that they build to like they did with Endgame. And I feel like we'll never get that high again. That's never gonna, that was a once in a lifetime thing that we saw. Right. And that's it. That's it.
Yeah, imagine setting it up with Loki in a good way, if you could, and then you have Spider-Man, and that's the beginning of your phase 4. And throughout phase 4, you have movies where they're all kind of affected in different ways of the multiverse being cracked open, and then the final is this big confrontation with the multiverse, and you can have Reed Richards come in and Fantastic Four, and you have X-Men come in.
Well,
and
that's
that could
what
be your
everybody
finale.
thought.
That would be so awesome.
Yeah,
but they want to rush everything.
Yeah.
They have no creativity anymore.
Well,
it's dead. MCU is dead.
It is dead. They're going to have to reboot it.
This is what,
and I don't even think that's going to work. And they'd have to wait, and they're not going to do that.
They're not going to do that.
I talked to my buddy about this, and he just said that there is definitely a fatigue, like a Marvel fatigue. Like you can't just keep doing this. I think part of it is the Disney Plus shows have completely watered down the value. Of Marvel. It's not special anymore. It used to be special. Remember, there were those years where like, oh my God, I can't believe 3 Marvel movies are opening this year, but that's when there was nothing else.
Mm-hmm.
Now there's too much, right? There's too much. It's kind of like when they spin off and Gary, like there's like 9 Spider-Man comics or 9 Batman comics all going at once, you know, and then like you didn't read this one that crosses over into that one. So you're like not up to speed. And, I didn't watch all the Disney Plus shows. I watched, most of WandaVision and checked into the first episodes of all the other ones and kind of knew to get out because I watch you and you saved me time and I appreciate that.
Hey, no problem.
But this movie is a mess. Obviously you can see that they must have seen No Way Home and thought, well, we have to do something similar to that, but it's not enough. And it's done in such a disrespectful way to those characters. I mean, Anson Mount plays Black Bolt. It's good. The one thing I do like about that is they got the costume.
They got the costume right. But like, did they fix the CGI on that? Because his face looked like it was floating around on it.
I don't know. It looked, I mean, a lot of it, I will say this, there are a lot of special effects in this movie and your mileage may vary.
Okay.
Some are good. And some are like, oh, they gave this to someone who like was the intern to let him try out. So the special effects are very uneven. There is kind of a cool thing where Doctor Strange and this is all Raimi, right? Doctor Strange like reanimates a dead version of himself because they show like in the trailers, there's been like a zombie Doctor Strange, right? So we've seen that. We'll see he reanimates that and kind of controls it from another universe to get into to that universe. I don't want to go into it. It's so convoluted. You won't care as you're watching it. But the implication was when you saw it, you're like, oh, they're going to do Marvel zombies. Nope. Just the one. Just the one.
So they got a zombie in Far From Home. And well, see, like Far From Home started it, right? Because Mysterio was supposed to come from a multiverse, but he didn't.
Right.
But he didn't. So we're like, okay, so you're foreshadowing. And then we get WandaVision. And they got Quicksilver from the Fox movies. That's supposed to nope. That was just a random thing.
No.
Yeah, it's like, what are they fucking doing? Are they gonna come in later and say, well, these things were connected in some movie that nobody's gonna care about now because you've pissed off so many people? Like, it is clear. It is. I'm glad that people are waking up to the MCU. I'm very happy that they're waking up to something I did not create. They created. I am just simply pointing out that they feel like they can't have any kind of masculinity, or heroism at all, because those are tools of the patriarchy, and we can't support that at all because we have to have support for Me Too Times Up, which was so fucking 4 years ago, by the way, and it ended up being a giant fraud. So, by the time they can turn this ship around, it'll be too fucking late. And as I've said, Disney will be the last to the change party if they ever bother doing it. Like they just hired somebody from their PR director who quit after 3 months has been replaced by somebody from the Obama administration or the Biden, one of the two.
Yikes.
A political hack. Does that sound like a company that's changing? Kenobi is going to be about that black female Jedi or whatever Jedi hunter she is. That's all it's going to be about. It's the same fucking song and dance over and over and over again. No thanks.
Yeah, it's I mean, it was a sort of just a mixed reaction. You could tell from the crowd, which was interesting. I mean, it wasn't a packed audience, but there was a lot of over the credits. You heard a lot of people talking. There were a lot of people talking, and yeah, it was not a great reception to this. That's why you see the sort of like forced enthusiasm from some of the people who were positive about it. It's just seemed very forced to me. I mean, I went off on something of a rant after on Twitter, which this is weird now. I used to hate Twitter. Now I'm kind of liking it. I'm having fun. I tweeted out, make Twitter fun again. I think Elon Musk has made it fun. I feel safe to express my true thoughts on things now. Who'd have thunk that? Like, I mean, that's the reason I stopped using Twitter is I was tired of one, people I like being silenced or booted off the platform, and two, like just getting pushback on some of the like very middle of the road opinions I had about most things. You know, I'm Captain Common Sense if I were a superhero, and that's, you know, like apparently that's verboten these days. So
white supremacy, Chris.
Yeah, that's exactly what I am, you know. But like Elon kind of has inspired me to like, look, I'm just gonna say what I think about stuff now and not give a shit about the consequences.
Dude, you have to. If for one, it's the only way to cut through the minutia, right? And Bounding just came out with an article reminding everybody what Kevin Feige referred to Doctor Strange, one of the bigger characters in the Marvel Universe, not the biggest, as just another white guy. That's what Kevin Feige called him.
Yep.
That's why they didn't put him for one, he lied. So at the end of WandaVision, the writer who didn't know who Mephisto was going to put Doctor Strange in it, and they decided not to because they didn't want to take away Wanda's agency. And we didn't want just another white guy coming in and telling her what to do. This is your fucking character that you paid billions for. Just another white guy. That's how he feels about it. So,
yeah, it's pretty stupid. I mean, there's got to be this is where almost the accountants can be the heroes here and just say, look, objectively speaking, the Disney Plus shows are they're underperforming, and at the box office, we're underperforming. I think that, you know, for the most part, all due respect to female Marvel fans, and there are a lot of them, there are more than when I was growing up when there were almost no female comic book or Marvel fans. And now I think because of the movies, I'm sorry to say there are far more female Marvel fans than before, and there's, you know what, it's fine. Yeah, it's a large tent. Welcome to the party. Come in. We hope you check out some of the stuff from the past to kind of catch up, but it's okay if you don't. It's fine. Normie Marvel fans, I'm okay with that. But Jesus, this started out as a franchise for young boys' power fantasies, and there's nothing wrong with those. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, I grew up reading comics, and I think there are, the old comics that I used to read. There were a lot of moral lessons. It was very Shakespearean, especially in the when Stan Lee was around back in the day and whatnot. Like there was a morality to it. It was great, dude. And
Avengers Annual number 10. The shit that goes on in Avengers Annual number 10. Just read it if you guys have a chance to read it. If you haven't read it, it came out when I was like 12. There's all kinds of crazy shit that goes on. It's a great comic book. Michael Golden does the art. Fucked up things happen to Captain Marvel, to Miss Marvel. Sorry, Miss Marvel. Carol Danvers. Rogue comes in. She's bad. Beats the fuck out of the Avenger. It's really great comic book. Avengers Annual number 10. One of my favorite single issues ever. Read it.
God, there's so many, I love those annuals and giant size, and just those are the ones when those came out, man. I mean, that's what just like I would just like. I mean, that's why I worked when I was a kid. I was like 9 years old doing newspaper routes, so I could afford to buy comics and Aurora model kits, and ride my bike up to the store, get a popsicle and a comic.
I got Pringles and a Dr. Pepper and a comic book, and I try to look at the Playboys out of the corner of my eye that were on the bottom shelf.
They were behind the counter. I couldn't get to them.
Oh, mine were out front at the marketplace. But I don't know. We're the same age, dude. Right? I'm a little older than you.
No, I'm older than you.
No, you're not.
65. I was born 65.
Oh yeah, oh wow, you're those my older sister.
There you go.
There you go. I was born in 69. So
I thought you were saying
4 whole years on me, dude.
For a second.
Yeah,
no, I'm not 65. But
I was like, damn, Chris, you look good for 65.
I was an indoor kid. So I think that's
it preserved you. Stayed out of that sunlight.
Staying out of the sun when I was a kid. All the other kids that were in ski club and all those things I couldn't afford or didn't care about.
Where'd you grow up? What I grew up in SoCal.
I grew up in Michigan, Royal Oak.
Okay.
Went to Royal Oak Kimball High School.
Well, yeah, and you'd be indoors 6 months of the year, right? With the snow.
Yeah, but then I would just walk to school. I walked to school 2 miles away and 2 miles back. It's like that. See, now I'm gonna sound like one of those like
you just sounded
uphill both ways, wasn't it? Yeah.
It was like So that's how it was back.
I grew up in SoCal where you could just ride your kids would just go. My parents would go, come home when the street lights come on.
Yeah,
and I'd fucking just go off with my BMX.
Starts to get dark. Come home. That was
it.
Dude, I can't imagine doing that these days with my kids. Like the stuff I did when I was a kid, I would just be out and gone all day long, in the creek,
football,
in the forest,
building
playing
forts,
with kids, and
shooting shit with our BB guns, shooting each other with our BB guns.
Yeah.
I remember getting hurt a bunch of times doing stupid shit. I shouldn't have, like playing around construction sites.
Yep.
Just doing like
those are the best places to play.
Stepping on rusty nails. Popping them through your foot. I did that.
Once.
I did that. Yeah.
My brother did that.
Yeah.
I sliced my foot open a bunch of times on rusty shit.
But yeah, so I'm I'm an optimist, Gary, you know that about me. Until I see it. And I was like, oh man, it'd be so cool to see Tom Cruise as Iron Man, even if he's in it for like 10 seconds. It would just be, they could just jam-packed it full of cameos because it's the multiverse. Think of what you could do. And they don't do that. And I think it's going to be a disappointment.
Patrick Stewart's in it. Does he die too? Professor X?
Yeah. Like, wait, I'm trying to remember. Yeah.
Wow.
That whole scene, they get rid of everybody. It's just like they introduce Illuminati and then she takes them all. So
morons, like absolute morons.
Patrick Stewart does not look great. He looks like he is in Picard.
Oh my god! It is.
I'm trying to think.
It's wrong.
But like the Mr. Fantastic one was the most like you've just introduced this character. We're super pumped, and he dies in like a gruesome way, which is completely. Like they just go to fighters. So you've got like all these like very powerful superheroes, multiverse versions of them. That's cool. And they can't take out Wanda. What are her fucking powers? Like it's
supposed to be chaos magic, right? So she's supposed to create chaos. But now it's just like she's telekinetic or whatever. Just fucking blow you up.
Nobody's superpowers are ever explained anymore.
Are variable in the comic books, and she is dramatically amped up over the years, like dramatically.
But I used to collect those. I think I still have those, like the Marvel Encyclopedia. We would tell you the height of every person and give you like their stats and like their powers, and because that would be like your thing, like when you would get in arguments about, Hulk versus Thor, or Hulk versus the Thing, or it was always the Hulk versus whoever. It was always the Hulk. The standard.
Well, the Hulk essentially could beat the shit. Well, the Silver Surfer, when I was a kid, the Silver Surfer was the most powerful non-god superhero. Wipe out anybody. Yeah, with the power cosmic. That's changed since then. Now it's Captain Marvel, who just has cosmic-y powers. Your boy Zach from Diversity in Comics had the best description of Captain Marvel. She is the kind of generic superhero you see on the side of a plumbing van. With their generic superhero, that's what she is.
A locksmith.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember how Professor X
super locksmiths, and it's fucking
I'm trying to think of how. Okay, just don't quote me. It's just like it was so like looking at my friend next to me, and us just sort of shaking our heads like, what the fuck, like it's bad. I mean, Professor X obviously tries to get in her head and help her, but it's like,
which he would have been able to do, to some point. Okay,
Yeah.
Wanda's like later on pretty powerful. She got rid of mutants. All right, she got rid of mutants, so that's pretty powerful. But she was also psychotic. There was also other superheroes who could take her on, and she couldn't just kill everybody. Because her psychosis was also her weakness. It's kind of like Sentry when they brought him.
But was it a good choice to take look, Wanda was an interesting character in the Avengers movies, right? She was interesting. She had
interesting.
Interesting. The tragedy, she falls for Vision and they have a relationship.
Her whole series was about getting over her grief. So
getting over her grief, but then
didn't get over her grief. So it turns out WandaVision. So all that sacrificing, they have no idea what you sacrifice for them. She sacrificed dick.
But she sets aside all of her morals and just kills a bunch of people, to get to her kids.
She still murdered them. Yeah, they're still dead people.
A ton of people, not just the Illuminati. A lot of other people die.
Let me guess, they just fucking let her go at the end.
So what are we saying? It's not like Civil War, right? Where you have Tony Stark, and Steve Rogers on different sides of a philosophy.
Yeah.
That's really interesting. She's just straight up will murder people, and it's you're watching okay, a couple movies ago we were rooting for her, and WandaVision, or at least the first half when it was the TV stuff, I thought that was really clever. I actually really liked that. I'm like, I have no idea where this is going. It's very weird. I like it. Okay, it's different. Okay, maybe David Lynch had a hand in it, or at least David Lynch inspired. It's fucking weird. Then when it got revealed what the story was, I'm like, oh, this is stupid.
Yep.
Wanda, and then I was just like, yeah, I don't care. I don't care.
They're going to want the kids to survive because they become young Avengers later. So they're going to set that up. That's what they. That's why America Chavez and Riri and honestly,
I like the idea that she was kind of like that Billy Mooney character from the old Twilight Zone, where it was do you remember what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah. That's a great. Oh, my God.
One of the great Twilight Zones. And it was a little inspired by that, but
it was also redone in the movie by Joe Dante.
Yes, that's true.
Very good. Very well, by the way. Done very well. Yeah.
But man, there's so much more to discuss that I don't want to. That's just the Cliff Notes version of this movie. I mean, I am seeing it again with my daughter. My daughter and I.
Okay.
Well, my daughter and I get together. I'm going with a bunch of other nerd friends who didn't get to see it, so it's we're all going as a group, and we're gonna we're probably gonna go out drinking after. But yeah, I want to see it with paying people who paid to see it. I don't think the reaction is going to be much different. But boy, I can't wait for your conversation on FNT. It's you're everything that you've been talking about, Gary. It's just all that's it. That's the proof. It's right there. The Disney Plus stuff.
Man.
I'm really curious what you think. This feels like it was produced by the same production company that made the Disney Plus shows.
Well,
does that make sense?
The finale of Moon Knight coming out today, the day before Doctor Strange comes out, doesn't make sense. It's
right.
Business wise, it's dumb, unless they're trying to hide something. No, this doesn't business wise make sense, but the fact that it says Kevin Feige production does. That part makes sense to me. That's ego. I understand that. It's going to be his undoing, but ego and hubris always part of the picture.
Well, I'll talk about it more. I'm doing a live stream on the Film Threat YouTube channel, which got demonetized, by the way. I'll have to maybe
the whole channel or
the channel. Yeah, I got it, but I think it might have something to do with paperwork they're asking for, and I'm like, yeah, I'll get you the paperwork. And so we can't take super chats or do anything. But I'll be doing a live stream tonight.
Was
Hollywood on the Rocks?
Was it $10.99 stuff?
Yeah, $10.99 stuff. And I'm like, here's my bank info. Here's all my info. Can't I keep making money? And I'm not asking them to send me money. I'm just saying, yeah, it's weird. It's weird.
Tell me what happened, because it probably just got messed up in the process.
Yeah, I'll tell you offline, but I'll be doing a live stream tonight. What's weird is I actually try to do my live streams when you're not doing yours so I can watch you.
Oh,
like
thanks.
literally Friday morning, we do a live stream on Film Threat with Alan Ng, who's the editor-in-chief of Film Threat. And we, I'm doing it. And then it's just like, okay. And then I get ready for FNT at 1:30, which I don't like this whole thing, how you're starting nearly on time now. It's kind of screwed me up.
Sorry. Well, I got the
bummed me
guys.
out.
We got a
Like,
meeting this time too. Hey,
I want to be on time.
Are you
What's
on?
all-
We'll get you on Streamlabs. That can circumvent.
That'll
that
help
for,
you?
that'll
Okay.
help you out for a little while until it gets fixed.
I really don't know what I'm doing with YouTube.
Dude, I'm worried about because I got to change my address. Right.
Oh, really?
I haven't done that yet. I got to change my address. I'm like worried that'll.
It's
fuck
gonna mess
everything
something up.
Yeah. So I'm waiting to talk to my partner manager about that.
All right.
but
Well, I don't know how to use Streamlabs, but I would
I'll
love.
show you. It's easy.
I'm trying to
peasy.
find somebody to like help me out, like make thumbnails and do like descriptions, just like give someone access to the channel so they can just like do a lot of the busyness, and then I can just focus on the show. We're not bringing in what you bring in, but you know what I mean. But yeah, I would love to find somebody to
Sure.
help me with all that.
Good to
So
have somebody to help for sure.
We'll talk later. But
Yeah.
like this is going to be an epic FNT this Friday because no, seriously, I am dying to hear you as Jeremy, Ryan, like everybody talk about it. It's going to be. It's really important because this really tells you where they're going. This is where they're going. And it feels like it. The Disney Plus shows I don't like, and that's what the Marvel Universe is now. Marvel Universe is the Disney Plus shows. They're just
Not surprising,
releasing it theatrically. That's what it is. So, dude, I was colossally, because in your imagination, think of what you could do. If you were just like a writer with a blank sheet of paper, you're going to do Doctor Strange of the Multiverse of Madness. This movie should have probably been the third Doctor Strange movie, build up to that. Like, it just feels so weird that they're trying to shoehorn stuff from the Doctor Strange 2. It's like, oh yeah, I remember that guy.
The problem is they try to fit all of the in-between appearances of Doctor Strange as if it was the second Doctor Strange. So now this one isn't really connected to the first one, like you were saying, because like all that stuff happened in between. You can't really watch it one in the second. You have to watch. Like I saw on Twitter, somebody was like, before you go watch Doctor Strange, you have to watch the last season of X-Men from 1970 or what? Not 1970, 1997, and you have to watch Loki. You have to watch this. You have to watch that. You have to. I'm like, if you have to do that much stuff for a movie, it's like homework, man.
Dude,
I just want to enjoy a good action.
I promise you, most people did not
movie.
watch WandaVision.
Yeah, and they're going to be confused because they're
It's going to be confusing as hell.
It's going to be confusing. Like, wait a sec, she was a good guy in the last movie. Now she's mad because she somehow doesn't have her kids, but she can't procreate. So is she? I don't know. They're
going to be like, wait, Wanda has kids? What? I don't understand this.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. If you didn't watch, and you'd have to get like when do the kids come in? Is it the third episode? I think of WandaVision. That's when her son's. So I think it's gonna leave people who are just the normie Marvel fans are going to be confused. And what it does is it kind of sets the precedent that none of these movies are about what they're advertised to be. They're just next Marvel product, right? So that's what really what this all is.
And it's not about Doctor Strange. Moon Knight wasn't about Moon Knight. Loki wasn't about Loki. Hawkeye wasn't about Hawkeye. I mean, are we sensing a little bit of a trend here?
Yeah, exactly.
Vision,
and America Chavez is being like
nowhere to be found.
Vision's not in it, or
that's fucking ridiculous. That is
which doesn't make sense.
Like, he should come in at the end, right?
Yeah.
At least
like try to save her, like, Wanda, it's me. Like, that would be your point to bring her back,
right? Or just think of the all I can say is the reshoots were not about the cameos, unless it was about the Illuminati, that Illuminati scene, which is just it's there and then it's done and then that's it. That's there's all your cameos right there, and different versions of Doctor Strange, and that's and different versions of Wanda, and that's it. I mean, it's just it's just the potential for this when you think of conceptually speaking, like, when you go back to something like the first Back to the Future movie, which is awesome. And, the sequels are fine. They're okay. It was just retelling of the first movie, but, with some variation. But I'm so glad that is a franchise that is untainted, at least so far.
So
yeah,
far.
and it can't be touched.
So far.
So far, yeah. I mean, well, I think Zemeckis has said like this, like, wow,
He's like, I will never let this
deathbed.
be remade.
Yeah, to his deathbed
in my lifetime.
Yeah, good for him.
Yeah.
Zemeckis,
and Bob Gale too.
I like yeah.
There are just so few franchises that have been just, they get destroyed, and it's disheartening because what it does is it affects your impression of the original, right? Like,
yes.
I can't imagine if Garrett is a good father, he's going to show his children the original Star Wars trilogy in the despecialized edition.
Yep.
And he will never, because can you imagine your kids?
That is the way.
And then it's like, we want to see more. And then you show them episode 7. It's like, why did he kill his own dad? Like, what?
Yeah.
What are these filmmakers thinking in their heads? George Lucas, and and I recommend this book often. This book, The Secret History of Star Wars. Get the Audible edition, which is like 20 plus hours. And the guy who does it is a voice actor who does the voices of everybody. Mm-hmm. So when he does like Harrison Ford, he does Harrison Ford. Same thing with Mark Hamill. It's such a great book. But George Lucas consulted a psychiatrist, a child psychiatrist, about the idea of making Darth Vader Luke's father, right? Like, that idea was like, I don't want to disturb kids too much. Like, I really want to see like how this will affect children. He really thought deeply about choices he was making in the Star Wars films. And looking back at the prequels really have aged well. Like, a lot of the lessons from the prequels and the ideas. I mean, I think George was rusty as a director. Fine. That's okay. I forgive him. But a lot of the story elements in the prequels, they hold up. They're legit, like.
Yeah, the ideas work. A lot of the theming does work. It's just a lot of the like more detailed execution of those elements.
Right. But yeah, the idea of a democracy turning into a dictatorship. I mean, that, and how it's not like a little, just one event that sets it off. It's a series of events that kind of slowly turns history, which is why I say a lot of these writers are inspired by Star Wars or Marvel movies. They're not inspired by the actual things that were inspired. I mean, fucking Stan Lee and Jack Kirby were in World War II. They fought World War II. Like they had experiences around the world. They did things that they brought to their art.
And they went to, now we got film school graduates who studied film and not like other elements of life that you need to bring in to make that human connection. They just think it's surface. They like, they got to look like them. No, it doesn't work like that.
Well, and it's like the MCU, the whole reason that it was great in the beginning, it was like these scrappy almost, to affect these, it was independent, right?
Yes.
And it was hard. You were getting it up off the ground. The first phase, if any of those films failed, it was done. We were not going forward. So there was a risk to it. Now we're at the point where it's just a big machine. Go, okay, we'll just make the next Marvel whatever. Doesn't matter what it is. We'll get inexperienced writers, inexperienced filmmakers, inexperienced actors at this point. It doesn't matter because it is product and people will purchase product. But in the beginning, it was, we have to make this good. It has to be good because if it isn't, it all comes apart. It fails. But now you can go out with a failure like this, and I'm sure it'll make a fucking shit ton of money.
Hellrats. Yeah. Hellrats 96 says, Nerdrotic, they made the Borg Queen just misunderstood because she's lonely. She's enslaved and killed billions. That's what we're gonna do with every villain. It's fucking tired, and it's part of nihilism. It's part of postmodernism because we can't have good guys fighting bad guys because bad guys might be just marginalized, or they were probably appropriated in some way. Something for the normies for $49.99 says, "Hail Gary, as a normie, I don't take offense at the term. I just don't like to be considered a consumer." That's the distinction. So when I am being insulting, I'm calling you a consumer, not a customer, not a normie. Those are just terms. Paying customer is something that should be absolutely respected at all times. But a consumer, I hate that word. I'm a paying customer. and I only pay for products that have value to me. Although it is fun to review terrible shows. Have a great day, gentlemen. It is because of you guys. We found a way. See, we humans find a way to make something fun. The NYC Geek for $20. Well, Gary, I binged Moon Knight, and this was awful. The gods are dumb, the action non-existent, and Moon Knight relegated to the back seat in his own show. I did love the costume, but that's about it. Yeah, we're gonna get a good 1/6 scale hot toy out of it. That's about it. But you are correct. It's shit. They should have called it Layla and Stephen Grant. Yes, Sir Chi 87 for $2. I absolutely agree with that. Okay, we're gonna run through some super chats, guys. Then we're gonna call it. Because I got to make a Moon Knight review, then I got to make a Doctor Strange review, then I got to make a Picard review, and somewhere in between then I got to get
more Babylon 5.
Maybe one episode today. No, and then a Strange New Worlds review.
Wait, is it out? Strange New Worlds?
It's supposed to be in a couple days. I think it's coming out the same day as Picard. Let me triple check that.
So. Let me see. Anson Mount, I think he plays Black Bolt. He plays Black Bolt.
I like Anson Mount. I think he's a good actor.
Hell on Wheels. He was
a friend of mine wanted him to play Batman forever, and I was like, like Batman. He wanted he's been saying it forever that he wanted him to play Batman.
That's a good choice.
That'd be a good choice. He'd be a good choice. Premiere date. What's the premiere date?
Well, the Strange New Worlds, though, are they going to?
It just says 2022. I thought it was coming out May 5th.
But is Pike going to be replaced by Kirk? Is that the plan? I was thinking because that's, canon in at least one of the universes.
What is that? Okay, so I have no fucking idea. So CNN, when it comes to Strange New Worlds, they called it a reboot. CNN when but then they removed it from their headline. So
really,
there's always been something very murky about these Star Trek rights that they've never come out and said. Midnight's Edge was the first to report the 25% difference, that came from an employee. Okay, so that didn't come out from nowhere. That came from somebody who worked on the fucking show and said things had to be 25% difference. Whether that's the case now because it's all under one umbrella, I don't know. I think if you've been rebooting something for a decade, it's failed. That's all I'll say. So yeah, it does start Thursday, May 5th. So
tomorrow,
the day Picard ends, Strange New Worlds starts. So my live review will cover both shows. I'm not going to do two separate ones for this. And that'll be tomorrow on Nerdrotic Live at night. But let's get to the super chats. Yeah, it's tomorrow. It's all happening at once, and none of it sounds good. Somewhere between now and then, I'm going to watch The Northman again.
Oh, such a great film.
Yes. Enoch Mamon for $25. I've never... did I read this one? Did I never watch... okay, I'll just read it anyway. I've never watched Moon Knight, thank God. But basically, you're saying that the only time the show has action is when a woman is doing it. Yes, I've read this one. Okay. Deeds MN, Minnesota, maybe, for $25 says, Gary, what's your definition of... Oh, did I read this one too? God dang it. Definition of total friend group. Probably, I read that one too. So we'll do Soren Torden. There's two umlauts in there, so I know I fucked that up. Sorry, for $15. Says, hail Gary, Garrett, and Gore. Do you think the MCU might be in a creatively more promising position had they actually let Thanos snap again in Endgame, with Phase 4 and beyond taking place in a new universe featuring the X-Men, Fantastic Four, and New Cap, etc.? At this point, yes.
Yeah. I mean, anything's better than what we got right now.
Thanos was right. Yeah, they're getting in a position where they're going to have to reboot, which is just dumb. So
well, I wonder financially, because Gary, they change these schedules constantly. They moved a bunch of stuff around. At some point, are they just going to say, look, this is not generating, the Disney Plus shows are not paying off. The movies are making less money. The big thing is going to be look at second weekend for Doctor Strange as word gets out. I mean, do they make adjustments based on financial realities? mean, they're going to have to.
They're going to have to because these things are getting more expensive. The COVID restrictions are still in place, and they're going to be in place probably forever. And that makes a movie cost what 30% more than it normally would. So you're out the gate on your most basic Marvel movie. It's $150 million budget to $200 million, which means $200 million in marketing, which means this thing's got to clear like almost $1 billion to be profitable. That's just what that's not sustainable in a world where the dollar is worth a lot less, and we have countries threatening to get off it, which would change everything. So yeah, they're financially they're going to be forced into even if they learned the proper lesson from No Way Home, it'll be 2 years before we find out, because Doctor Strange made a year ago, right? So Doctor Strange was made a year ago, despite reshoots that were extensive. But we still got Miss Marvel, Echo, Agatha Harkness. These
hits after hit after hit.
It's like, why aren't you making a Daredevil show?
Yeah, my God.
Daredevil show.
He's a man. He's a white man.
That's why. So Kevin Feige wanted to keep up on his promise to have more women than men because he got embarrassed by Wonder Woman, and it's going to bury the company. And Kevin Feige, who will live long enough to become the villain, which I think he's well on his way. People are starting. Even Grace Randolph was questioning Feige in her review. So, Manowar 65, neighbor of the beast. You've alluded to it yourself, Gary. Everything for the next 2 to 3 years goes in the default disregard file. Yes, we're gonna. Well, they're dismantling their male heroes, all of them, like systematically dismantling them and vandalizing them.
They just did it to Reed Richards.
In a couple minutes. You know,
man, they're getting efficient.
Yes, they are. Cranky old dude for $10 says 50th anniversary of one of the best TV movies of all time, The Night Stalker. Oh, just curious as your thoughts on the movie and the character of Carl Kolchak. Thanks. Love it. Love it. And I think
I loved that movie as a kid. It was definitely something that inspired the X-Files. Loved Kolchak, like the movie and what. Now I know they've tried to reboot it. And no, okay, well, there you go.
He made Darren McGavin made an appearance in X-Files. So
yeah,
as Darren McGavin, but that whole debate that we had on Friday.
Oh, I love that debate. That was awesome. It was like it was hilarious. Actually, I was dying when you guys were the binge model. Oh, that was great. Just make T-shirts for that.
What every studio wants is an X-Files, is a Game of Thrones, is a Sopranos, a Breaking Bad. Those are true seminal water cooler shows. As a matter of fact, I think it's arguable, but I think the X-Files was the first quote unquote water cooler show where everybody was into it. It's a genre show. People were like getting into the mysteries and the lore, and Buffy certainly was one of those too.
I would say that and Twin Peaks, Gary.
And Twin Peaks
was short-lived, but that had a whole cult. I mean, I remember my dad like sending me like here's my theory, and he had like this whole thing in his computer he had made about the relationships with all the characters. It's people were into it, like
Battlestar Galactica. Battlestar Galactica on Sci-Fi was for a couple of years the most popular show in the world.
Yeah,
it was. Everybody was talking about it. They were on the cover of everything. Like, that's what they're looking for. That's what they want. You can't do that when you're releasing them all at once. You're just not going to build the audience. Yeah,
I agree.
A good show will win out. Okay, like Squid Game. Squid Game was huge for Tiger King. Fucking absolutely huge for a minute. How did that follow up to Tiger King do? Do you remember? Does anybody even know there was a follow up to Tiger King? Yes, there was.
Oh,
I didn't watch it.
Yeah.
Blip. Yep. Because you know what? It took too long to come out, and it was out of the zeitgeist for too long. Stranger Things. it holds up. Stranger Things for a few years was, according to Parrot Analytics and Roku, like the most watched thing, period. Over like 3 or 4 year period was Stranger Things. Now that's based on a lot of, it's not based on actual data of numbers. It is based on hashtags and how much people talk about it on social media, and Roku. They can see their numbers, but that, I would say that's not even a third of what's really being watched. Because I don't have well, I do now. I do have a Roku now because of my home theater, but I don't watch fucking shit on it. I watch everything on my desktop. So all these companies have their real numbers, and what they're basing their views on are YouTube. Basically, what the iPlayer and YouTube base a view on the same thing. If you click on it and watch it for more than a couple seconds, that's a view. That's not really a view of a TV show now, is it? You're not, So the Nielsen data, which was, again, you're talking on trust, so we don't really know, is based on how long you watched an episode. So did you watch it beginning to end, or did you watch somebody's review? We'll never know. But the fact of the matter is, if you want to build an audience, it has to be weekly. If you want to build a real cultish audience where you're going to get like everybody showing, but the thing is they can't, and it's not just weekly, it has to be released at the same time too. And they might see that as an old model. Okay, fine. Then now you've made what you just said about Disney Plus. You've just made your very special exclusive episodes disposable. Just this disposable thing.
You even said in that discussion, buried was like a great thing that you said about like, why do they release the Disney Plus shows at like midnight is it like midnight on the East Coast, or is it midnight on the West Coast? It's just like,
so it's 2 a.m. for a lot of other people, and even later for
just that way you get like, no one's watching it all at the same time. I mean, like I didn't stay up to watch like the finale of, I don't think anything. I just didn't care, like I watch it in the morning or whatever. And then it's kind of like I wake up and people are already talking about it. And, if there's even that kind of buzz, The Mandalorian got that kind of buzz, and WandaVision did for a little bit. And then everything else just kind of fell off, right? You just, you're not waking up to spoilers anymore, mainly because the lack of interest. But I don't know.
Avoiding spoilers and making people feel bad, because that's what's behind not releasing it at the same time. They're like the path the least resistance is to release it in the middle of the night, where the most hardcore people are going to watch it anyway and spoil it by the time you get up in the morning.
Yep.
That makes no fucking sense, but they're doing it. So I don't get it. But these people are paid a lot of money to be stupid. That's all I know. An Akmabon for $5. I left my heroin in San Francisco. That's good. That's good. Or in your fentanyl. That's the big one right now is fentanyl. It's very easy to get. China is supplying it. It's the new China White. Gary's missing pants for $10. Hail, Babylon 5 is the best. BSG was great. Doctor Who is dead. Star Wars is dead. Star Trek is deader. Doctor Strange 2 will suck. Rings of Power will suck. I want sci-fi and fantasy back. And that sucks is we're burning through an opportunity that we might not get again in our lifetimes to see good fantasy and stuff adapted. It's that opportunity is gone. So yeah, I'm sorry. Gary's missing pants. I truly am. I read that one. David Amaro. Someone should tell Kevin Feige pride cometh before the fall for $5. Yep. Thanos did nothing wrong, says your boy Gimli for $2. Hell yeah. Dan C for £5 British pounds says, ye are the salt of the earth. Matthew 5:13. Yeah. Normies, salt of the earth, folks. Yeah, so that's right. I'm one of those people. I read that one. Dan C for $5. Seeing signs of the tide turning. Stay salty, folks. We are legion. God bless the UK. God bless the UK. Thank you for the 5 British pounds. You. By the way, you can take whoever that fuck was on MSNBC who called Elon. What did he call him? A white supremacist, along with every Republican. MSNBC.
Wow. I didn't see that.
And John Oliver and James.
John Oliver out of here.
Yeah. We love you guys, but you're not sending your best right now.
You're not. No. Maybe they're trying to filter him out of their country.
Yeah.
Send him over here.
Send him to, I don't know, anywhere else but here.
Canada.
Canada.
Send them to Canada. Get them up
Yeah,
there.
they'd be welcome up there. Just kidding, Cat. Canada's like, fuck you.
We already have enough.
No, please don't speak that evil into the world. Gary, Disney, do not make a Daredevil show. We already got an amazing one. Don't ruin this for us too. Okay, You're right. Got a good point there. Good point.
Yeah, right.
All right. The best thing that Marvel ever did, Kevin Feige had nothing to do with. Zero to do with.
It's almost like the people involved in the show read the comics. It's almost like that.
It is.
Almost.
Well, Stephen DeKnight, Drew Goddard. Drew Goddard's the one who put the show together. That's a Buffy alum right there. That's a Buffy alum.
But a lot of these people doing these shows, I just feel like they're just hired to do the show. They're not like compelled to, like the people who are this is the thing that when you look at like Star Trek, Star Wars, Tolkien, whatever it is, there is a creator. There's a creator. And I think the sort of more distance from the original creator that happens, the more you bring in people where they're just, like studio yes men to just like, yeah, I'm going to make product for you. Then you end up with something like Amazon's Lord of the Rings project, right? Like it's just, it's too far distant from the original people who were involved, because you could look to someone like a Stan Lee and they're, whether they're directly involved or not, they're kind of a shepherd and like someone who is like a figure that was responsible, a Gene Roddenberry, a George Lucas, like there just isn't that. Kevin Feige didn't create any of this stuff.
Nope. And didn't pitch.
Managing it.
And you're right. Daredevil was a pitch. That was a pitched series by Drew Goddard and others. So that was something that they developed from the beginning. And like, hey, we're going to make this movie. We were huge fans of the comic books. We read them all, and they put some of the best aspects of the comics in. It's the best origin story ever told, best action, best, filled with verisimilitude. That thing R&B loves. It's violent, and it's violent in a way that doesn't glorify it at all. It's gritty, hardcore violence, dude. Kingpin decapitates a dude with a car door.
With a car door,
fucking car door. And the bad guys aren't stupid. They made Madame Gao, this little fucking Chinese woman, like scary as hell.
Yep.
Like she was fucking awesome, man. So like that's how you do it. That is your blueprint.
And that's
that they don't follow at all.
That's what you get when you have passionate creators that have experience. You take that episode, like take any episode of Daredevil, any season, up against Moon Knight. Come on. And there's so many people that still, I love Moon Knight. It's so cool. It's got a high audience score, but they're comparing it to current day Marvel crap. Compare it to Daredevil. That show is far superior to what they're doing now.
Far superior.
Far.
Mike White. Oh, I read this one. I don't have an X-ray girl, so I'm doing this on my own. It's quite obvious.
Just give me the controls. Give me the controls.
Commandant VHS for $2. I should. It kind of makes a good point. 9/11 killed the comic book industry, and that did change the comic book industry. Like shit got dark, like really dark. Now for a little while it was really good, but then the nihilism started creeping in, right? So that's I mean, I won't say it's all 9/11, but that's what was the spark that led us here. And there's a lot of good stories that led us here. That's the thing, is the road to hell is paved with good intentions.
Yeah.
And the thing is, when you dismantle the superhero, what do you do after it's dismantled and been dismantled and dismantling it over and over? Even the guys who pioneered the dismantling have said it's been dismantled too much. It needs to stop. Alan Moore and Grant Morrison have both said in so many words, it was never supposed to be the industry, what we were doing. Like this was not supposed to take over. And it has. Because it's easy. It's easier to dismantle. It's easier to go dark.
Did you ever see the Joe Carnahan Daredevil sizzle reel, where he made a sizzle reel because he wanted to reboot the Daredevil movie franchise?
Yeah,
and did a sizzle reel. Anyways,
I have not seen that. I will look at it at some point.
Yeah, you gotta just look it up on YouTube. Joe
That's
Carnahan.
awesome. Top Gun 2 is the only movie I'm excited for this summer. And it might Gerald Armstrong for $4.99. It might be the only movie that's like it could be the feel good hit of the summer. You don't know.
Could be.
I'm looking forward to it. I am.
Yeah, it looks good.
I'm going to go see it.
A little goose son get in there.
Yeah, I think Val
Trying to fight
Kilmer's
Tom
like
Cruise. I'm down to watch
Val
it. Val Kilmer's in it
Yeah,
a little bit.
little bit. I mean, hell, I love Val.
As much as you can. I love Val Kilmer. He's one of my favorite actors of all time. I love that little documentary that came out about his life, all the footage he shot, stuff. It was a great documentary. You know, it sucks what's happening. What his throat cancer.
Yep.
Blows. I wish he could be in more stuff.
I still think the Inquisitor looks like Kristen from Red Dwarf. She might. I don't know much about. I know nothing about
Red Dwarf.
Yep.
Kristen.
They're really clinging to the nostalgia, huh? Manny Gadarama for $1.99. They're clinging to it, but that I think they're just using it as nostalgia bait, as Eric July has coined out. It's just to get you into the theater. That's all it is. And like killing Reed Richards in a matter of minutes, it represents what the MCU is now. I think it's a good representation of what it is now, which is dead.
But I wonder if Krasinski is actually going to be Reed Richards, or he's just a Reed Richards variant.
I'm thinking variant, but I could be wrong.
Oh, okay. Hold up. So he's a variant, so they can say, "Oh, we did the traditional Fantastic Four."
Yep.
So the next Fantastic Four that comes out can be a black male or a black female.
Yep.
They can do whatever they want now, since they said, "Well, look, fans, we gave you Reed Richards. He's right there."
I wonder how that
we just murdered him.
I wonder how that news is going to be spun when they announce the casting for the Fantastic Four. Because again, my gateway comic, you've got 50 plus years of history of the Fantastic Four, lots of merch, lots of comics, and they're just gonna. I mean, it's one thing to swap out a character, gender, race, whatever, for maybe a character that's not well known, but for the Fantastic Four, I think, at least in the nerd community, is pretty freaking well known.
Right.
So it's very well known. It's the first family of comic books, not just Marvel, of comic books.
That's
and
true.
There's a lot of good ways you can do it, and they're not going to do it. And I promise you that fucking idiot Peyton Reed's probably going to direct it, and it'll suck. And we'll see. We'll see.
That's going to be their flag. They're going to post their flag. This is our LGBTQ representation diversity flag, and we're putting it right on top of the first family.
Shad's viewer named this correctly. It's not fan fiction. It's faux fiction. Let that term spread.
Nice.
Faux fiction. I love that.
I like that faux fiction.
I love that term.
Yeah. E-Mark P for $5. Done. Done. It's faux fiction. Very good. ORJ for $4.99. $4.49. Sorry. Can't wait for the Marvel to stop doing standalone movies and TV shows, and with the women that replace the male legends, the ratings will be legendary. Oh yeah. We'll find out when it turns into the full MCU. I mean, we're headed right. I mean, Marvel's is basically the A-Force movie. That's essentially what it is. So it'll be a Christmas present for us content creators. Oh shit. I mean, that's going to build I need repair on my fence, which we actually did pay for, but can I bitch a little bit? Personal shit. Just a little personal side shit. We'll get back to the Marvel
Quick
stuff.
Quick story.
Our fucking contractor bailed on us, man. Like
straight up.
I have shit. It's been raining. Our electrical wires are exposed. All his ladders are fucking in my backyard. He fucking fucked up our fence, and my brand new fence that I paid a lot of money for. And he just fucked off, and he's a licensed contractor. We just never heard from him again. So my wife just, not want to get on Melissa's bad side. Just don't. She just, fuck, man. She like the guy was like, apologize. She's like, nope, you're done. We're done with you. Fuck you.
Well, there's Angie's List, and then there's also tutorials you can find on YouTube all over. The only thing is you don't know which tutorials are the best ones because you don't see how many likes or dislikes are on a tutorial.
There's no way to tell.
I mean, the
anymore.
thing
really
is, we
tell.
paid the guy. So
And you
now,
paid him?
do I sue him to get my money back?
You have to.
I mean,
You
he's a
have to.
contractor, so you got to rat him out. I hate ratting people out, but
Yeah. But I mean, he did it. He promised one thing, didn't show up. I mean, he was having that issue back whenever I was there before you even arrived. There were some issues that Melissa was having. Jeez, man.
Wow.
Yep.
That
So
sucks,
we
man.
gave him enough time, but yeah, he fucked off with all her money. So
Whoa.
she's gonna get him back somehow, and I feel bad for him almost.
No, I wouldn't feel bad for him.
Yeah, she will not leave a stone unturned in fucking that guy's life. So okay, Kwang Su. Well, dude, it was a lot of money, man. Like if he like said I can't do it and gave us some money back, I'm like fine, that's fine, that'd be cool. Like I get it because they're having a hard time finding employees. Like every business, and plus it's boomtown here, so like everybody's got too much work. It's like yeah, I'm just gonna go to tutorials and do this shit ourselves.
Some of it you can.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, wait,
sure.
Release the Raimi cut is trending on Twitter.
I knew it.
Is it really?
It was
nice.
auto-filling 2 days ago. Thanks for
Oh,
letting
wow.
me bitch. I mean, like, you want to be sympathetic to a guy who can't get enough, but like, he can paint. That's what I told him the last time I talked about it. Well, you could do it. It's your company, right? You're a
Yeah,
contractor.
get out there and do it.
Get your fucking ass over here and do it. You know? No, didn't do it. Space Dave 2000 for 5 Canadian pesos. Can Doctor Who be saved? I was trying to, it was a little bit of a typo. If so, how? Easily be saved. Easily. It's not even hard. Russell T. Davies gets a not young, okay, well, 45, we'll say 35 to 45-year-old doctor. It doesn't, not like this super good-looking dude. It's got to be a character actor. It's got to be British, and a young, hot companion in the TARDIS while erasing the timeless children. Yes, it can be saved to a certain extent. It will never be what they wanted it to be and what it could have been. Does that make sense? And in time, maybe, but they have to erase that shit today. Russell T. Davies, the first thing he should have said is, we're erasing the timeless children. William Hartnell is the first Doctor. Here we go. And you'd be on your way already. The fact that he hasn't said these things bothers me. Because, I mean, I tweeted at him when Straczynski was talking about, like, offering to do it. I tweeted at him, who's the first Doctor? Answer only one question. Who's the first Doctor? And of course, they didn't answer. So, William Hartnell's the first. And until that is rectified, that's going to piss off every British, even the people who are backing Jodie were pissed from that. They're like, no. I had so many emails going, I hated you, but now I don't. It was great.
I understand now.
I understand now. Saw Dan Aykroyd on Twitter. Sorry, my spelling sucks. I gave at Ghostbusters to him. You did? Bruce Anderson for $10? That's good. I didn't know you had it. Dan Aykroyd just broke up with Donna Dixon. I was rooting for those two kids too. Well, they're not kids. They're fucking
He
old.
broke up with her?
I don't know.
That's weird.
Yeah, that is weird. Had to double check, and this is a minor gripe, but it bugs me that the child Luke isn't blonde. No, that should bug you because you're a fan. For one, dark-haired kids don't get blonder as they get older for the most part. Blonder happens as you age, and then you get darker when you get a little older. I started out as a fucking redhead, as a bright redhead ginger when I was a kid. And then I got like super, super blonde. And then it turned, ash because I got old. But
maybe it was the two suns just burning his hair.
yeah, he for one, his hair would be blonde from the two fucking suns.
Yeah.
It would be blonde. He would be very blonde at a very early age. Nah. But yeah, that is weird why they just didn't do that. It's those,
weird.
it's
It
those little
is.
details that shows they don't give a fuck. And if they can't get the little things right, I said this in my Lord of the Rings video. If you can't get the little things right, then you are not going to get the big things right, the messaging. Because ultimately, if like a Lord of the Rings show came out and there's a black elf, right? But the black elf has like long hair, right? And there's a female black dwarf, but she's got a beard. And aside from them being black, everything sounds and looks like Tolkien. People will get over it quickly.
But you can't do that because you have to put it in everybody's face.
Yeah, the thing
It has
is,
to be a big show.
it automatically tells me that in a show where you're going to have to make up your own Tolkien language, it's the words between getting Tolkien's names right that I'm concerned with. It's not like Sauron. It's what they say after that. Sauron, your intersectionality is so brave and stunning. Like that's the kind of shit I'm like worried about, right? Is the messaging. And Tolkien's messaging is all over his book. And it's not allegory, it's messaging, okay? And there are themes in there that they are just going to they're going to put their own shit in there. They have made no secret that this is this is our sandbox now. So they're taking a guy's life's work, and it's exactly what they've done to Star Trek. You got a couple of fucking cokeheads got given the keys to a castle, and they had a bunch of party. They had a lame party and hookers, and everybody like crapped all over the floor, and it looks worse than like the opening of The Hangover in that beautiful house, and they just fucked it up. That's and it's another fucking bad reboot, idiot. Like, I don't know when people are going to learn. Like, Jar Jar Abrams gets treated like Spielberg. What has he fucking done? What has that guy done? Nothing. Fucking nothing.
Nothing original.
Everything's a play on something else. Like Super 8. It's a play on Spielberg.
Fucking
and it's not even a good play on Spielberg.
Alias was a play on like Run Lola Run.
Yep.
You know, and spy things. So like, yeah, it's always, yeah, you're right. They're always like, stealing, basically. I haven't seen Run Lola Run in a long time. That was a good movie.
Great movie.
Yep. I know the Fantastic Four movies weren't the best, but I did enjoy how they did explain how each of the characters got their powers and why they did.
Yeah.
I did too. Craig Steinkamp. I own them. I own those movies. I'll watch them. I like the Fantastic
And it has
Four.
a great scene of how Mr. Fantastic can stretch his hand under the door scene where he opens the door. Like that's such a cool scene of showing what he can do with his power.
But I still feel it was limited in the sense that they didn't really, they really didn't take it.
They could have gone way over.
Like he can roll up like a ball. He can slingshot the thing. He can, again, just look at the Incredibles, how they dealt with Elastigirl, how fast, like she moved and everything. It was fucking cool.
Incredibles 2 also goes into it more because the movie is more focused on her. She has like a motorbike that's in two parts because her body is stretches, so she can hold to the front wheel with one part of her body and then the back wheel with another part, and she does all these action scenes with it. It's creative. It's very creative the way they use that.
They just haven't done Mr. Fantastic. They haven't done the Fantastic Four really like what at least in my head when I read like the Jack Kirby comics or just like some of their other runs, like what's possible with that group. I never liked the reboot, that sort of darker reboot they did, the recent one.
Oh, I tried to fan force.
It was trash.
I hated it. And then, like the Josh Trank thing was based on that, which I didn't like. They were younger
and one of the things Reed should always be doing, it should look a bit like Dr. Manhattan in The Watchmen. There should always be some giant Kirby-like machinery being built, like some fucking particle accelerator, time machine or whatever that he's building because he's the smartest man alive because his brain doesn't work like humans. His brain works the same way as his power does. That's one of the coolest aspects about him.
I mean, like in his relationship with Sue being kind of rocky because he's focused on other stuff. I mean, that's, like, look, I can relate to aspects of that, right? Like, you got to keep life in balance, but that was always great. And those Kirby, like just you mentioning that right now, like it was amazing. You'd open up Fantastic Four comic and there was just like stuff that's like, it's like science and the negative zone. And just like, it was just like so freaking different than a lot of the other stuff from its time. Like we've never seen that vision ever faithfully translated to the screen. I thought John Watts, like, okay, after seeing No Way Home, it's like, all right, I have faith in this guy. And I think it's also going to be not woke and just like focused on storytelling and characters. And it's not, I mean, it's, I don't know. I feel like the whole getting rid of Watts was a way for Marvel to have more control over it.
Yep.
Which now my faith in that is just, and when they announce the casting, we're just going to know.
Oh, the Fox movies are going to end up being
yeah.
the Fox movies are going to end up being better.
Yeah.
Plus, Jessica Alba like damn near gets naked in one of those movies. So
that's true.
Like you should,
No
all be grateful for that.
That was formative times for me.
Oh
I was like, come on. What? No, you can't see anything.
You're so young.
Close
Shut
enough.
up.
I know, right? And Chris Evans was in that too. That's right. I forgot about that.
Darbo Doodoo Bunky for $10 says, do you think DC will ever bring the character Codpiece into the big screen? James Gunn probably will. Michael B, aka Shogun Gaming, thank you for the 14 Danish krona. Christoph, the Polish guy, talks and reviews. Says, off topic, Gary, what do you think of the Hobbit movies? Did you like them? For the most part, yes. I did. I got enjoyment out of them. I watched them. I hate the love triangle. I skipped through all those scenes. I've right past them. I fucking can't stand them. Did I mention I hate it? I hate it. I hated what they did.
How do you feel about it?
I fucking hate it. Can I have a clown horn, please? Hail, Chris Gore, Quarter Black, and last but not least, Nerdrotic from Aid Robertson for $17.99 British pounds, of course. It's been a long time since we got the clown horn. The world we live in. God, I hope to retire the clown horn someday. Like, never use it again. And by the way, thank you for the 100 Polish pesos. Jens Anderson of Tari for 50 Swedish krona. I am proud of myself. First Marvel series I didn't watch along with the Shang Sing Wong and Eternally Crap. Shang Sing Wong and Eternally Crap. I rewatched Stargate instead. Watch Stargate, Gary. I will. Hey, they can't get mad at you when they did their own little ching chong and fucking Moon Knight. So
hey Gary, Chris has got to go pretty soon.
Yeah. We're gonna wrap it up. Let's I'll do Talking Pulp Press for $20. Will be the last one. Then we got to go. Sup guys? You always talk about creating new IPs. I'm working on that. Second book in my series is nearly done. Not here to spam it. Just want you to know some of us have followed the advice and led a lot of people like Ripa and Drinker, and we love them both. And thank you, Talking Pulp Press. Good. Take inspiration. Inspiration is good. Envy's lame. We can rip this shit apart, but I don't envy these people. I question their existence and their intelligence, but I don't envy them. Let's wrap it up. Yeah, we got way over today, but we had fun. So we'll start with Chris Gore. Plug your wares, sir.
Hey, first of all, thank you, Gary and Garrett, for having me on. Just really appreciate it. I look forward to the Nooner. I look forward to it when I wasn't on it just to watch it, but it's real pleasure to be here and chat with you. Cannot wait for FNT. And just want to say, if you want to follow me personally, I'm that Chris Gore and everything. And my channel is Film Threat. Just check that out. It's also on the same social, Film Threat, Instagram, Twitter, all that stuff. We talk about independent film as our focus. And we do discuss like the movies opening in theaters every Friday. And tonight I'm doing a live stream. We do a late night Wednesday live stream called Hollywood on the Rocks, where we talk about a lot of nerd stuff. And I'll go into more exhaustive detail of Doctor Strange 2 if you can stomach it. So I'll be there later tonight, I think around 8 p.m. Pacific time. So there you go.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here, Chris. Quarter Black Garrett.
Hey, well, dude, thanks for having me on. I am honored to be amongst these two titans here of geek culture. You guys are awesome. And hail to the chat. I love this show. And man, I gotta watch Doctor Strange tomorrow. Man,
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, it's gonna suck. So tonight I'm gonna be on Adam's show, so Adam Krigler's show, and then later on Geeks and Gamers stream, we're gonna do Among Us with a bunch of people. So Adam's gonna be there, Ripa's gonna be there, I think.
So weird. I wasn't invited.
A bunch of people. What It's a video game. It's one
I
of those
know.
video games.
I was like, so
Look, Adam Krigler's show is the best show by an underwear model on YouTube. That's all I'm
Really?
going to say.
Bar none.
Abercrombie
Bar none.
and Fringe.
Abercrombie, he's in that documentary, right? He's in the doc.
Is
I couldn't
he?
get through. Yeah, I
Is
couldn't
he
get
in that?
through it.
Oh my! I gotta find it. I gotta find that.
It's on Netflix.
No, just kidding.
It's on Netflix. But yeah, I started to watch. I'm like, why am I watching? Because I like to watch a lot of different docs. I was watching it. I'm like, oh, I hate that brand. And
I hate this.
There. Like, why would I watch this documentary? And I turned it off 10 minutes.
Isn't it
in.
like preppy clothes or something?
Yeah, preppy clothes I would
Yeah.
never buy and or wear.
Fuck.
It's
no.
the store I always just walk right past
Yeah.
Yeah.
as fast as possible.
Thanks, Dancy, for the five British pounds. Appreciate it. Yeah, I got it. I got to run. A lot of reviews to do. A lot of shows to do. We'll see if it's possible. I'll be. I don't have time to video game. I gotta do a Moon Knight review and then a Doctor Strange review.
No, Gary, you and I should do a video game live stream where we're just both
Yeah.
terrible at games.
Okay.
We should do
That's
it.
part of the show, man.
I
Like
am
Jeremy always
pretty
says,
bad.
it's the
Do
being
it.
terrible at games is the most entertaining thing about it.
All
I'll
right.
be terrible with you.
All right. I'm down.
Okay, that would be super
it.
fun. Just how bad we would be.
Let's do it. We could like boomers playing video games. That'd be awesome. Like if I could play my stand-up arcade games downstairs, I'm pretty good at those. I'm fine at those.
Yeah.
But this shit, no way. Like Joust, I'm dope. Fucking awesome at Joust.
Yeah, we could do that. I mean, there are like classic games you could play. Like
Yeah, you can play a Gauntlet. That's a 2-player
Dude,
game.
Pole Position,
Some
Tempest.
Pole Position, yeah. Tempest, dude.
Yeah, Tempest is fucking awesome. Love
I
Tempest.
fucking love Tempest.
Yeah. All right. So, hey, thanks everybody. You guys are great. Thanks to the Nerdrotics. Thanks to everyone who left a super chat and donation who helped keep the lights on here.
Hail.
Thanks to everybody who just simply spent time with us and hung out. Hope you had a good time. Again, I'll be back tomorrow night for a Star Trek review on Nerdrotic Live around 9 p.m. Central Daylight Time. And then, of course, Friday Night Tights at 1:30 at Central Daylight Time and 3:30 Pacific. Our guests are Clifton Duncan and Drew Hernandez. It's going to be a hell of a show. So until next week, everyone, thanks again. Enjoy some credits.
Nerdrotic.com.
Do not come. Do not come.
I'm gonna come.
Dame